Chapter 417. Plead for what? Plead for her to save her. Or for something else? Baya realized that her hands were trembling. Xiaohi lowered her head and wrote down the secret on her hand. That operation didn't really exist. Baya didn't understand. What does that mean? It was a drill. The operation was fake, but the death was real. Baya still didn't understand what that meant. She looked at Xiaohi suspiciously. Tell Gu Lingqing that he can understand what I mean. So since the operation was fake, where did the spy come from? Xiaohi continued to write. Baya felt a chill down her spine. How did you know? I needed money, so I accepted some missions. I went to country S during the mission, and got to know a prime minister. I sneaked into their database and found a scandal. The vice president of their country, who was the witness we needed to rescue, had a secret lover in country X. When we went to carry out the mission, the lover was giving birth. This politician announced that he was coming to country X, but in fact, he went to country X. He didn't come to country A at all. If the person we needed to rescue didn't exist, then what was the purpose of the operation? Xiaohi wrote on Baya's hand stroke by stroke. He wrote very slowly, afraid that Baya wouldn't understand. Baya looked at Xiaohi in shock. She wasn't the person involved. She had only heard Gu Lingqing talk about the mission. Now that she thought about it, it was terrifying. She shivered. Xiaohi continued to write. This is a serious matter. This secret can't be known by others for the time being. I'm afraid it will cause an uproar and affect the relationship between our country and country S. Baya came back to her senses and wrote on Xiaohi's hand. You were arrested as soon as you appeared at the airport because someone made an anonymous call and leaked the news. Did you contact anyone to expose your whereabouts? This time, it was Xiaohi's turn to be surprised. She shook her head. I've always been a loner. Even when I accepted a mission, I didn't tell them my real name. I was even surprised. I had clearly changed my passport. How did I get caught the moment I appeared? So someone has been following you. They should know that you went to S country for a mission. Baya was worried. They know that I went to S country to carry out a mission, but they won't know that I know this secret. I'm also alone when I do missions. I'm also worried that if they know that I know this secret, I won't be able to live at all. That's why I can't tell anyone. I only trust you. And Gu Lingqing. In addition, Xiaohi's fingers paused for a moment, and a fierce look flashed across his eyes. He glanced at Baya and continued to write. If I am found to be a spy in the military court and sentenced to death, I will tell this secret. After all, I don't want to die as a spy. I have shamed myself, and I will never be able to wash myself clean in this lifetime. I hope that there will be a win-win situation. I also want to know what exactly happened on that mission. I don't want to be wronged for so many years without knowing the truth. I understand, Baya said in a low voice. Please, Xiaohi said again. Baya nodded. She turned around and walked out of the room where Xiaohi was locked up. Lung Ning walked in front of her and looked at her suspiciously. You knew Xiaohi before? We met by chance. Sorry to trouble you. Baya didn't want to say more. The current her was the same as Xiaohi. There were very few people who trusted her. Follow me. Lung Ning led the way in front and handed her over to the soldiers. After taking many detours, she saw Gu Lingqing's car. Gu Lingqing saw her too. He got out of the car and picked her up. Then he drove away immediately. Baya didn't say anything. She was afraid that she would affect his driving. After half an hour, their car was on the normal city road. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. He looked ahead deeply. After driving for another half an hour, they stopped in front of a manor. Gu Lingqing, let's talk first. Baya stopped him. He unbuckled his seatbelt and turned around to face Baya. He said in a low voice, say it. Xiaohi said that the mission you took didn't exist at all. Gu Lingqing frowned. What mission? What didn't exist? You brought your brothers to rescue the political leader. Those people were all dead. Only you, Xiaohi and Zhou Hailan were left. But in fact that political leader was in country X at that time. He didn't come to country A at all. So the person you saved wasn't the vice president of country S. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya in deep thought. His eyes darkened. I know it's hard for you to accept it. After all, many of your brothers died in that mission. You can't just listen to Xiaohe's one-sided story. I think you can investigate the truth. Also, Xiaohe said that if she was sentenced to death, she would tell everyone. A week after I brought the political leader back, the vice president, who was a commissioner in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at that time, personally thanked me on TV. That's because his lover was giving birth in country X at that time. He used this incident to cover up his scandal. These were all insider information that Xiaohe got by chance. Could it be that the person you saved looked exactly like the vice president? Baya was suspicious. When I saved him, his face was covered in blood. I couldn't see his face clearly. Plus, it was too urgent at that time, so I didn't see him clearly. Gu Lingqing recalled. Who did you hand him over to? Who asked you to carry out this mission? Gu Lingqing looked at Baya deeply. My direct superior at that time was Kai Qingyan, General Kai. But he's dead now. Maybe he was also following other people's orders? Who do you think could order him? There weren't many people in his position who could order him. The president, the two vice presidents, and the committee. Gu Lingqing pondered. If it was a fake mission, why did all my brothers die? Baya didn't say anything. She didn't know Gu Lingqing at that time, so she didn't know. If that mission was fake, that means there was no spy at all. Xiaohe should have been wronged. However, if this matter is exposed, it may affect the relationship between country A and country S. Baya suggested. I'll first send someone to country S to confirm the truth of this matter. Then we'll make a long-term plan. Baya lowered her eyes. Hopefully they had enough time. They entered the private room together. Baya saw that there were 8 people in the private room, but she didn't know any of them. President Gu, please sit down. They deliberately left the main seat empty. Gu Lingqing sat down on the main seat. There was no seat next to him, so Baya found an empty seat and sat down. She had just sat down when she saw Su Jiran walking in with a glass of wine. Chapter 418. Hearing Su Jiran's tone, Baya subconsciously felt uncomfortable. She curled her lips and said, My presence here has nothing to do with you, Mr. Su, right? Su Jiran realized that he was in the wrong position. I'm just curious. Miss Wu doesn't seem like someone who likes to mingle in such places. You don't know me. How do you know that I don't like it? Baya retorted. The atmosphere between the two of them was filled with the feeling of mutual hostility. Mr. Su, do you know each other? Someone asked. Su Jiran shrugged and said, Sort of. He looked at Gu Lingqing and said, I heard that you're here, so I came to propose a toast. Mr. Gu, you must have a lot of troubles recently, right? What does it have to do with you? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course it has something to do with me. We've known each other for so long. I hope that you can live longer. Without your company, my life will be so boring. Su Jiran took the initiative to touch Gu Lingqing's wine glass. You're thinking too much. I'll definitely live longer than you. People who meddle in other people's business usually don't live long, Gu Lingqing said meaningfully. Su Jiran smiled with a hint of schadenfreude. He raised his head and downed the wine in his cup in one gulp. Then he glanced sideways at Wu Nian and said, You're with Gu Lingqing? Baya's heart trembled. She stared at Su Jiran and pursed her lips without saying a word. She's my assistant now. Gu Lingqing helped Baya out of the situation. Assistant. Su Jiran's face turned pale. He looked at Baya unhappily and said, When I invited you to be my assistant, you said that you only knew how to teach. What are you doing now? Miss Wu is really two-faced. She doesn't speak a word of truth. The moon waxes and wanes, and people have their ups and downs. Everything in the world is impermanent. If you want to be specific, Mr. Su is not as charming as President Gu in my eyes. Are you satisfied with this reply? Baya retorted coldly. Su Jiran's expression became even worse. Then he threw the wine glass into the bin and looked at Baya with a warning look. You will regret this decision very soon. Baya watched as Su Jiran walked out, and his expression darkened. How did the saying go again? It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Su Jiran was still a cultured villain wrapped in a gorgeous appearance. She was really afraid of Su Jiran. He was capable of anything. The socializing continued. The others didn't seem to be affected by Su Jieran's sudden appearance, but Baiya was restless. Xiaonian, help me get the lighter from the car, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya was stunned. She didn't like Gu Lingqing smoking, but there were so many people here, so she couldn't disrespect him. She stood up and walked out. Before she reached the elevator, Gu Lingqing held her hand and pulled her to the balcony on the second floor. Don't worry about what Su Jieran said, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya understood. He didn't ask her to get the lighter, but he called her out. He probably saw that she wasn't in a good mood, so he came to comfort her. In her heart, she was very touched. After going through so much, I know him too well. It's impossible to say that I don't care. I'm thinking about what he said about regretting this decision soon. Does Su Jieran know something? Even if he knows something, it has nothing to do with me. Firstly, he won't tell me. Secondly, he will hit me when I'm down. Thirdly, Gu Lingqing paused. I didn't deal with him before because I wanted him to taste the pain of your death like I did. Since you're still alive, I'm not going to let him go. Baiya was nervous. She held Gu Lingqing's hand. Don't make me regret my decision to be with you. I hope that you'll be safe. If you're safe, I can let go of all my hatred. Gu Lingqing held her hand back. After knowing the secret that Xiaohi told me, I realized that you're not dragging me down, but I'm dragging you down. Even without you, some things will still happen. So no matter what happens, don't blame yourself. In my eyes, Su Jieran is insignificant and insignificant. Baiya knew that Gu Lingqing was comforting her. She could tell which things he was dragging her down, and which things she was dragging him down. Anyway, we'll be fine in the future, Baiya said in a deep voice. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I saw that you didn't eat anything before. Go back and eat something. I'll bring you home later, Gu Lingqing said softly. He held her hand and walked back. Baiya subconsciously pulled her hand out. Gu Lingqing turned back to look at her. Gu Lingqing, I love you. I love you more than you think. We still have a lot of things to solve. It's better to have one less thing to do. You're not a superhuman, Baiya said worriedly. Got it. Gu Lingqing did not make things difficult for her. She walked towards the private room first. Baiya walked towards the direction of the washroom. She splashed water on her face. She looked up and saw Su Jieran in the mirror. She was shocked and her face turned pale instantly. Su Jieran crossed his arms and leaned against the door. He looked at her coldly. Does Alan know that you're Gu Lingqing's assistant? I don't need to report my work. Besides, Alan will come to a land on the 15th. I don't need to tell him. He will know. Baiya forced herself to calm down. She deliberately told Su Jieran the date when Alan would come back to China to mislead Su Jieran. You're not majoring in finance, business, or secretarial. Don't you think it's strange that Gu Lingqing specially arranged for you to be his assistant? Su Jieran asked in return. Others have their reasons for arranging it. I have my reasons for accepting it. I only need to think about myself. Why should I think about others? Baiya walked out. Su Jieran took a big step to the right and blocked her way. He looked down at her. I'm curious. What's your reason? Baiya curled her lips. I want to know why you care so much about me. Don't tell me that you really love me. I think the reason why I care about you is the same as the reason why I care about Gu Lingqing. You really look like the woman we love together. Su Jieran examined Baiya's face. Baiya raised her chin and looked at Su Jieran. I'm done. Can you let me go now? Su Jieran did not let her go. Instead, he held her arm. Follow me. What do you want? No matter what you want, I can accept it. I don't lack money. I don't have any relatives. Even my only friend has left me. In other words, I don't have anything I want now. If I do. Baiya paused. Mr. Su, you have power, and good looks. Even Mo Shui likes you. You should not lack women. In the future, stay away from me. Chapter 419. Baiya curled her lips. What if the woman you love comes back? Su Jieran paused and looked at Baiya suspiciously. He let go of his hand and his eyes dimmed. Baiya probably won't come back. I think Gu Lingqing thinks the same, so he asked you to be his assistant. Baya caught the strange look in his eyes. Sujiran, do you want to make a deal? What kind of deal? Sujiran's hope was ignited. What did you mean when you said that I'll regret it soon? Baya continued to ask. Sujiran looked at her faintly. Gu Lingqing is doomed. If you follow him, of course, you'll regret it soon. Gu Lingqing will not be able to escape. What does this mean? Wu Nian, don't tell me that you're really worried about Gu Lingqing. Don't tell me you're interested in him. Sujiran squinted his eyes in suspicion. If you're referring to Xiaohe, I think you're thinking too much. Gu Lingqing won't save Xiaohe. Baya made it clear. Sujiran was slightly shocked. How do you know about Xiaohe? I know more than you think. For example, that mission is a fake mission, Baya said, scrutinizing Sujiran. Sujiran was even more shocked. How do you know? Who are you? I think I should be the one asking you, not the other way around. Who are you? Who are you working for? Wu Nian asked suspiciously. Sujiran hugged Baya's waist. If you want to know who I'm working for, come to my side. I'll tell you everything. Let go, Baya ordered. So you stayed by Gu Lingqing's side because of someone's order? Was it Xinyian's order? Sujiran asked. Baya stared at Sujiran. He was very smart. Even though he was stunned for a moment, he quickly regained his composure. He would not let her get information out of him easily. If she continued to be entangled with him and panicked, she would expose even more. The more you know, the sooner you die. Baya stepped on Sujiran's foot forcefully. Sujiran felt the pain and loosened his grip. Baya didn't even look at him and walked towards the private room. I advise you not to follow in Zhou Heilin's footsteps. You've seen what happened to her. She's basically abandoned, Sujiran said from behind her. Baya stopped in her tracks. She really regretted not turning on the recording. Otherwise, her words might have been useful. She glanced at Sujiran. You'd better worry about yourself. Sujiran smiled devilishly. Seems like you don't know much. Your level is very low. Baya turned her face away and walked towards the private room. Along the way, she kept recalling the conversation she had with Sujiran. Although he was cautious, she still heard some of it. She pushed open the door of the private room. Gu Lingqing was frowning. When he saw her, he relaxed and said in a low voice, "Does it take so long to get something?" "I didn't see a lighter in your car, so I looked for it for a while," Baya said and sat down. "President Gu, don't be angry. I have a lighter here." Director Wu took the opportunity to suck up to him. He took out a lighter and lit it up. Gu Lingqing lit a cigarette and looked at Baya. Baya met his gaze. He gestured to the dishes on the table. She lowered her head and ate. "This is Xiaowu, right? Here's to you," a strange man said to Baya. Baya raised her glass. "She needs to drive for me. She can't drink," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. "Oh yes. We abide by the law. We don't drink when we drive, and we don't drive when we drink," Director Wu said quickly. She looked at Gu Lingqing and said with a smile, "President Gu, when are you free? I'll make arrangements for that location." "Thank you," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and looked at Baya. Baya met his eyes again. She put down her glass, lowered her head and continued to eat. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of his mouth, and his heart was filled with warmth. Half an hour later, she couldn't eat anymore. Gu Lingqing said to Director Wu, "I have a child at home. I'll go back first. Zhang will make arrangements for you. Have fun." "Thank you, President Gu," Director Wu said with a flattering smile. "You're welcome." He stood up. Baya stood up as well. He went out. Baya picked up her bag and followed him out. "Be smart next time. You're going out to eat with me, not to drink with me. Every time you say you're going to drive me away, understand?" Gu Lingqing said. "Oh, I forgot," Baya explained. Gu Lingqing pressed the button for the elevator. "Why did you take so long to return to the room? If you came back 1 minute later, I would have gone to look for you." "I bumped into Sujiran in the washroom." Baya didn't hide it. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. "Stay away from him if you see him next time. I talked to him for a while." Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Baya warily. "Talk? What's there to talk about? You've suffered a lot from him, haven't you?" Baya saw that the elevator had arrived. I'll talk to you when we get in the car. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He entered the elevator and looked at Baya. You can talk now. Baya put on her seatbelt and looked at Gu Lingqing. I found out a few things about him. First, when I said that the mission was fake, he said, "How do you know? Who are you?" This means that Su Jiran knows that the mission was fake. I remember that Su Jiran is the president's man. This means that the president knows that the mission was fake. Second, he thought that I was ordered by Shen Yan to stay by your side. He said that I shouldn't follow in Zhou Hailan's footsteps. This means that Zhou Hailan was ordered by someone to stay by your side. Shen Yan is very cunning. Maybe he deliberately said something to confuse you. Gu Lingqing said cautiously. I don't think so. Also, let's say that the president knew that the mission was fake. Could it be that the former president asked someone to catch Xiaohe? Baya guessed. Impossible. If the mission was arranged by Shen Yan's father, he would have killed Xiaohe after knowing his whereabouts. He wouldn't have asked my people to catch him. So the person who asked Leng Shuang to catch him can't be the one who planned the fake mission. Moreover, we still don't know which faction Su Jiran belongs to, Gu Lingqing said solemnly. If Zhou Hailan was ordered by someone to stay by your side, she should know that it was a fake mission. Through her, we can find out who planned the fake mission. What's the purpose of the fake mission? The mission is fake, but the death is real. What's the purpose of the death? Is it for you or for someone else? Baya had many questions in his mind. Chapter 420. You don't have to do anything about this. I'll handle it, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya felt a little uncomfortable. She knew that Gu Lingqing was worried that she would be in danger, so he didn't want her to participate. However, she wasn't afraid of danger or death. She was just afraid that something would happen to him. At the thought of something happening to him, her eyes turned red. Gu Lingqing, if something happens to you, I won't live alone. Let's face it together. The difference is if they want to deal with me, with my skill and ability, I am not someone that an ordinary person can deal with. However, if they want to deal with you, you will be powerless and will be easily dealt with, Gu Lingqing said solemnly. Indeed, she didn't have any ability. She couldn't help him even if she wanted to. I really don't understand. Why do you like me? I don't have a good temper, and I'm incompetent. I have a bad personality and I'm in a mess. Baya lowered her head and pulled her seatbelt to vent the faint displeasure in her heart. Gu Lingqing held her hand, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. You don't need a reason to like someone. Maybe it's just a moment of affection. I only know that you make me miss you, and I can't see any other woman in my eyes anymore. You also make my heart ache, and it will make me jealous and crazy. Although I don't know the reason, I know that this is love. It was rare for Gu Lingqing to say sweet words. Most of the time he was a man of few words. But every time he said it, it made her feel incomparably sweet. Although I'm unarmed, I know that as long as you're here, nothing will happen to me. Didn't something happen to you on the deserted island? That's because you weren't there. So I can't protect you all the time. Gu Lingqing seemed to know what she was going to say, and blocked her words. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. I don't want to be a woman who causes trouble everywhere, and only needs your protection. I want to fight side by side with you. There's a place for you to fight side by side. Do you know who Director Wu is? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya shook her head. How would I know? I'm not a businessman. He's the owner of Shengchuan City's Land Planning Bureau. The person with him is the director of the investment promotion agency, Gu Lingqing explained. Shengchuan City is surrounded by mountains. It's the poorest province in country A. Do they want you to develop your career there? Baya guessed. Yes, they want me to develop my career in Shengchuan City, but my goal is the treasure. Isn't the treasure in the gold source? Baya was surprised. No, I looked for a lot of information, consulted experts, and combined it with the unfinished diary. I found the correct address. It's not in Jinyuan, but in Shengchuan City. We have to do T have to say. We have, Guti to say. T2. Yeah, by we. Shan, I'm. We have to do with it. T by. We lon. To of it yeah. Do we. T. Bye. Even if you find the treasure, you don't know who the boss is. You will get yourself into more trouble. Gu Lingqing, you have enough trouble. Xiaohe's problem is not solved yet. Baiya disagreed. I can only negotiate with the boss after I get the treasure. To deal with the boss, we need to know who he is. Otherwise, we won't have any direction. I admit that you're right. I'm not asking you not to do this. I just feel that our priority now is to find out the truth behind your mission. We need to find out who the mastermind is. Then we can deal with the treasure. What do you think? Baiya asked. She felt that Gu Lingqing wouldn't be able to handle so many things at the same time, even if he was a god. Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya in silence. Baiya didn't say a word. She just looked at her quietly. All right, I won't touch the treasure for the time being. It's too late. Let's go home first, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya knew that it wasn't easy to get Gu Lingqing to compromise. He was willing to compromise because he indulged her. She drove back. On the way, she looked at Gu Lingqing. He closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. The lights from the street lamps flickered on his face, just like her mood at that moment. She had to think about it carefully and analyze all the accidents and possibilities. She couldn't take another wrong step. After an hour and a half, they arrived at the villa. Baiya stopped the car. Gu Lingqing opened his eyes and looked at her. Xiaoya, you once told me that if you died, I would live well and take your place to complete your unfinished dream, right? Yes. She did say that. Gu Lingqing's reply at that time was to talk about it in the future. I promise you, but I also need you to promise me something, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was very serious. Baiya had a bad feeling in her heart. Gu Lingqing continued. If I die one day, I hope that you can live well and take my place. We still have Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan needs you to take care of him. He will have children in the future. Xiaoyan's children also need you to take care of them. Do you understand? Baiya's eyes turned red instantly. She couldn't hold back her tears and they rolled down her cheeks in big drops. Gu Lingqing was a very confident person. In the past, when he encountered problems, he would always say, "Trust me, I can solve it." This time, he felt like he was leaving something behind. This meant that he also judged that he might not be able to solve it. Baiya couldn't help but feel sad. I won't promise you. If you die, I will accompany you. We still have Xiaoyan, Gu Lingqing said. Xiaoyan has his adoptive parents, Baiya said willfully. Her tears fell even more fiercely. Gu Lingqing reached out to wipe her tears. Baiya pushed his hand away and turned her face away. She wiped her tears by herself, opened the door and got out of the car. Gu Lingqing had no choice but to get out of the car. Baiya walked to the door. With her back facing Gu Lingqing, she said, If you die, they will deal with your son. Do you think I have the ability to protect Xiaoyan? No, I don't. The only one who has the ability is you. Gu Lingqing walked behind her. He reached out and hugged Baiya. He buried his head in her neck and took a deep breath. Baiya felt that his body temperature was pouring into her body bit by bit. However, she still felt very cold. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. Xiaoya, promise me, okay? If something happens to me, I will send you and your son out safely. No one will find you. Gu Lingqing looked at her solemnly. Chapter 421. When she lost her lover, it was as if the sky had lost all color, and all she could see was black and white. Even though there were many people around, she still felt lonely. Even on a hot summer day, she would still feel cold. When she was eating, she would think of the details of their meals. He liked to eat braised pork with preserved vegetables. He would remove the fish bones and give the meat to her. When she was sleeping, she would think of him lying beside her. He would use his arm as a pillow for her. When she was walking, she would think of him beside her. He would let her walk inside and hold her hand when she was crossing the road. When she was watching television, she would think of him sitting beside her. He didn't watch soap operas, but he wouldn't fight with her over the TV. He would look at his phone. When she was cold, he would drape her clothes over her and hold her hand. When she was tired, he would let her lean on his body or carry her to the bed. Every time she thought of this, she would think of the fact that he would never appear again. Her heart ached as if it was being cut by a knife. She wished that she could die immediately. She hoped even more that there was a heaven in this world. She would be able to see him in heaven after she died. She couldn't live without Gu Lingqing. Hence, she would rather look at him from afar than be a burden to him. Gu Lingqing looked at her crying and his heart ached. He wiped her tears with his thumb. Let's talk about this in the future. Anyway, we are still fine now. Baiya didn't say anything. She lowered her eyes and was as calm as still water. Gu Lingqing opened the door and held her hand as they entered. She heard the dog barking. It was really pitiful to be their dog. They didn't have a proper meal. Baiya took the dog food to feed the dog. She even changed the dog's water. Looking at the dog happily eating and drinking, she was in a daze. Most dogs were happy because they thought less and wanted less. They didn't experience too many setbacks and were easily satisfied. As long as they had food and water, they would feel happy. Humans weren't like that. They had feelings but were also burdened by them. The more they wanted, the more complicated their thoughts were, and the harder it was to find happiness. Gu Lingqing handed a bottle of milk to her. Drink it. It will strengthen your body. Drink a bottle every day from now on. Baiya took the bottle from Gu Lingqing's hand and stood up. Her eyes were still red, and she drank all the milk in the bottle. Come with me to work tomorrow. I'll ask the HR department to give you a labor contract. Gu Lingqing took the bottle from Baiya's hand and walked to the kitchen to wash it. Baiya looked at his back and narrowed his eyes, which shot out a ray of light. She would never allow him to die. She would carry the burden of what he had carried. She was dead, and he promised her to live on and take good care of Xiao Yan. If he died, she would not be able to live. When Gu Lingqing came out of the kitchen, Baiya had already taken a shower in the bathroom. She was standing under the faucet with her eyes closed. She was immersed in her thoughts. When he heard the bathroom door open, he opened his eyes. Gu Lingqing walked in with a bathrobe. He took off his clothes and stood in front of Baiya. She stood on tiptoe and kissed his chin. Gu Lingqing also held her waist. Their lips touched, and an electric current flowed into their blood. Gu Lingqing hugged her and lay in the bathtub. As they kissed, the temperature increased. He held her calf and placed it on his waist. They looked at each other and saw deep love and misty pity in each other's eyes. Baiya's heart ached. She took the initiative to close the distance between the two of them. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed her eyes, the bridge of her nose, her lips, and her collarbone. The waves hit the bathtub, creating beautiful splashes and landing on the ground. Again and again, life surged forth. She hugged him tightly. When he couldn't see, she shed tears. She lowered her head and bit Gu Lingqing's shoulder. She could really feel his existence. 15 minutes later, it gradually subsided. The bathroom was so quiet that they could hear the sound of breathing. Gu Lingqing gazed at her. Just like how she gazed at him, they looked at each other without saying a word. Gu Lingqing was the first to smile. He pinched her nose and stood up. Baiya also stood up and hugged him from behind. Gu Lingqing, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I want to go to the temple. The temple? Gu Lingqing looked at her in surprise. When did you believe in this? From today onwards, I want to believe in it, Baiya said meaningfully. Okay, I'll go with you tomorrow. He took the bathrobe and wrapped it around her. Be careful not to catch a cold. Baiya wrapped the bathrobe around her and went out. She changed into her pajamas and lay on the bed. She looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. She closed her eyes. Not long after, Gu Lingqing brushed his teeth and came in. He lay beside her and looked at her peaceful face. Baiya waited for a while, but he did not turn off the lights. She opened her eyes and saw that he was looking at her. Aren't you going to sleep? It's very late. Gu Lingqing touched her nose. Your forehead, nose, and ears have not been fixed right. Yeah, I fixed my eyes, patted my chin, changed the shape of my face, lips, and eyebrows. I used to have a tough life, Baiya said. Gu Lingqing was amused by her. Why didn't I notice that I had a tough life? Baiya also felt that what she said was quite funny. Go to sleep. Gu Lingqing nodded and turned off the lights. Baiya turned over and faced her back to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also turned over and hugged her waist, pulling her to his side. Baiya was dizzy. She was really a little sleepy and fell asleep after a while. She had a dream. She dreamt that Gu Lingqing said that he wanted to go to Inner Mongolia, and forcefully pulled her onto a bus. There were not many people on the bus. The driver was playing with the picio in his hand, and told her that he wanted 12,000, and asked her to take a look. She took a look. It looked weird and she did not know what material it was made of. They arrived at a certain city area. She saw a tall building not far away. It was as though there were electric waves and magnetic fields. In an instant it exploded. She shouted, "Gu Lingqing, run!" Gu Lingqing pulled her and ran. She hugged her head and saw many stones falling in front of her. She was afraid that they would hit her head. When she looked at Gu Lingqing was gone and she was alone. Her heart tightened. She found a roof with its back facing the exploded building and squatted on the ground. She looked at the stones and corpses in front of her in a panic. It was raining heavily. She was worried that something had happened to Gu Lingqing. She ran out from under the roof and looked for Gu Lingqing everywhere. She could not find him and met Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang said that Gu Lingqing was already dead. He was hit by a huge stone. She cried in her dream. "Xiaoya, Xiaoya." Gu Lingqing pushed her. Baya opened her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing. She was glad that it was just a dream. However, she could not stop feeling sad. Chapter 422. Baya smiled awkwardly and wiped away her tears, but her eyes were still wet. She pretended to be calm and said, "I had a nightmare, I'm sorry." "You dreamed that I was dead," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. "You kept shouting, 'Gu Lingqing, don't die.'" Gu Lingqing explained. Baya sat up and thought of the dream. Her heart still ached a little. She brushed the hair in front of her forehead and squinted at Gu Lingqing. "I dreamed that you were killed by a stone. And I also dreamed of Lu Shuang. Dreams are all the opposite. It just proves that I won't die. It's still early. Do you want to sleep for a while?" Gu Lingqing also sat up and looked at the time. It was only 5:45. Baya shook her head. "I used to wake up at this time. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to cook breakfast and run in the morning. That's a good habit. I'll keep you company." Gu Lingqing also got up. Baya brushed her teeth and washed her face first. She put the rice in the rice cooker to cook porridge and went out for a run. Gu Lingqing quickly caught up. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. "Is it a race?" Baya asked. Gu Lingqing chuckled. "You're brave enough to challenge me. No one in the army can run faster than me." Baya ran backward and looked at him. "Mr. Gu, run backward. I'll run along. We'll go around the park and the finishing point will be the starting point." Gu Lingqing smiled and agreed readily. "Okay." Baya sprinted forward and Gu Lingqing followed beside her. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. She didn't expect him to run so fast, even though he was running backward. It seemed that he was waiting for her on purpose. She sped up and Gu Lingqing still followed beside her. She ran for 100 meters and couldn't run anymore. She gradually slowed down. Gu Lingqing played along. He also slowed down and stayed by her side. Her heart was filled with warmth as she looked at him with a smile. "It's easier to conserve energy by running at a constant speed. You should sprint at the end," Gu Lingqing suggested. "I admit defeat, okay? Ignorance is bliss. Come and run, let's run together," Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing turned around. He originally wanted Baya to win, but she should have seen that he deliberately let her win. Between lovers, there was no need to care about winning or losing. Her smile was his greatest trophy. The two of them ran 10 laps around the park before Baya stopped to rest. Panting slightly, she wiped the sweat off her body and turned to look at Gu Lingqing. He stood under the tree and looked at her deeply, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. "I know an ancient temple that has more than 300 years of history. I heard that it's very accurate. I want to go there, but it's a little far. Will it affect your work?" Baya said worriedly. "No, I'll get someone to drive the limousine over. When you're in the limousine, you can still rest for a while. I can also work, so it won't affect me." Baya nodded. "Sounds good. Let's go and have breakfast first. I've cooked porridge. Scramble a tomato and egg later." In the car, Baya lied on the bed and pretended to take a nap. Gu Lingqing was focused on the computer. Slowly, Baya opened her eyes and looked at Gu Lingqing. The sunlight outside the window fell on him, casting his shadow on the blanket. Even his shadow was so tall and straight. Time was quiet. She slightly raised the corners of her mouth and her eyes were gentle. Gu Lingqing seemed to feel her gaze and looked at her. Their eyes met. Did I wake you up? Gu Lingqing closed the computer. Baya shook her head. No, just looking at you makes me feel very satisfied. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of her mouth. She laid down beside Baya and put her hand on her waist naturally. That sounds nice. What were you doing when I asked you to be with me? Actually, I've always been there. I've never left. I was there before, I'm here now. No matter what happens in the future, I'll still be there. After knowing you, I can't find anyone better than you, Baya confessed. Gu Lingqing's smile deepened. Since when did you become so sweet? This isn't like you. It wasn't like her, but she was worried that if she didn't say it now, she wouldn't have the chance to say it in the future. I've always been very unlucky, but you're the luckiest thing in my misfortune. You're also the only bright color in my life. I feel that God is still treating me well after knowing you, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a burning gaze. I've always been fighting against my fate. Thank you for appearing and making my life different. Baya slightly furrowed her brows. It doesn't sound good. Gu Lingqing laughed out loud. That's why it's destined. Don't ask me why I like you anymore. Baya shrugged. Then I'll rest for a while. You're busy. She turned her body and turned her back to Gu Lingqing. There was a flash of determination in her eyes. Now, other than Su Jiran, there was also Zhou Hailan. Ever since they knew each other, Gu Lingqing had always been the one protecting her. Now it was her turn to protect him. Before they knew it, they had already arrived at the ancient temple. There were many people in the ancient temple. There were many people lining up to see the master. Baya was the last one in line. Gu Lingqing stood beside her. What's going on? There's an ancient master here. He only tells 3 people every day. Those who are told by him are very accurate. They can also turn misfortune into blessing, Baya explained. There are about 40 to 50 people here. You'll have to line up for half a month. I'll call someone to line up later. We'll come again when it's our turn, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya pursed her lips and smiled. Before she could say anything, an auntie standing in front of them said, Young man, I can tell that you don't understand. The ancient master only tells 3 people every day, but not everyone. It depends on fate. We're just trying our luck. So even if it's our turn, he might not tell us? Gu Lingqing asked Baya. Baya nodded. If he doesn't tell us, it's not too late to burn incense and pray for blessings. Gu Lingqing did not say anything. He did not believe in this, but as long as Baya believed in it, he would accompany her. Even if he did not say anything, he felt that it was meaningful to be by her side. The line in front was moving very fast. It should be the ancient master who did not tell anyone. Soon it was Baya's turn. Baya went in first. Gu Lingqing followed. He was stopped by a young novice monk. Almsgiver, the ancient master only tells one person at a time. Even if you're together, you can only tell one person at a time. Baya looked back at Gu Lingqing and smiled. I'll be done in a while. Gu Lingqing nodded. He watched Baya walk in and stood aside patiently. Baya walked in. First, she passed a vestibule. She lifted the black curtain and smelled the fragrance of wormwood. Sitting in front of her was a very young man. Chapter 423. He looked at her and smiled. You've changed your appearance and been reborn, but you still can't change your fate. Miss, please take a seat. Baya was slightly stunned. She actually knew that every famous quack was an expert in micro-expressions. They could judge from a person's expression, and they could also listen to useful information from the other party's words. However, to be able to accurately say that she had changed her appearance and was reborn, she was still very surprised. She sat in front of the Master Gufa. The Master Gufa handed her a brush. Write down a word and tell me. What do you want to test? Baya took the brush from the Master Gufa and wrote down a word on the rice paper. She put down the brush and said in a deep voice, I want to know how to change bad luck and let myself and my lover be safe. The master Gufa looked at the word written by Baya. Man can conquer nature. Miss, you actually have your own idea. You study psychology, so you should be able to control other people's hearts. If you can control other people's hearts, what can't you do? Baya looked at the master Gufa in surprise. She had changed her appearance and looked different from the previous Baya. The previous Baya had appeared in various major news magazines, so it was normal for him to know that she studied psychology. However, when she appeared as Wu Nian, he could be so sure that he didn't need to test her. Indeed, she was shocked. You mean if I do what I want, I can let my lover and I be safe? Baya continued to ask. The master Gufa smiled. You killed too many people in your previous life, which made you who you are. You stepped on many corpses to stand under the sun, so in this life, you will experience many setbacks. However, it doesn't matter. You are originally a person above others, and it is inevitable that you will be stained with blood. The important thing is, don't leave a trace. If you don't do it cleanly, you will disappear from this world. Baya's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean by it is inevitable that I will be stained with blood? What do you mean by unclean? I will disappear from this world. What are you hinting at? Speak clearly, speak clearly. There are many things that need to be experienced by benefactor. That's all I know. Grandmaster Gufa's expression did not change. Baya stood up and glared at him sternly. I know that fortune tellers like you like to say ambiguous things and let others deceive you. In fact, you're just using your language skills. It doesn't count. Grandmaster Gufa smiled. If benefactor doesn't believe me, why come to my place? But you didn't tell me what I wanted to know. I only know how to predict fate. I'm not a deity who can predict the past and the future, and I don't have the ability to change everything. What you want to know, I've already told you the direction based on fate. As for the specifics, it all depends on how you go. How? You're right. I need to leave no trace in order to be safe and sound. But how can I leave no trace? Master Gufa is nothing but a fraud. Baya spoke harshly and turned around. Benefactor, please wait. Grandmaster Gufa stood up. Baya cast a sidelong glance at him. He smiled. You're an expert in psychology. As expected, you live up to your reputation. I'm impressed. Baya frowned. He asked suspiciously, you know me? I'm just guessing based on fate. I don't know you, benefactor. Grandmaster Gufa said gently. Baya pulled the chair back and sat down again. Now, I really want to hear what you mean by fate. Grandmaster Gufa also sat down and pointed at the word fate on the paper. All in all, benefactor relies on mouth for a living. When you came in, you looked at me as if you had seen through it. Because you felt that I was judging based on micro-expressions, and micro-expressions are your forte. The word next to the mouth is jia. It refers to the proof of someone with status. In other words, you're in this industry. You've received great honors. However, mouths also represent people. You are stepping on people with status, and these people with status have been buried in the yellow earth. If you leave a mark, then there will be a little bit of life on the word, but this word doesn't have it. Grandmaster Gufa explained. You judged it from the words I wrote. Baya was suspicious. Grandmaster Gufa smiled but didn't say anything. What if I rewrite a word now? Baya picked up the pen. Life can't be repeated. It's useless no matter how many words you write, Grandmaster Gufa said casually. Baya paused and put down the pen. She slowly stood up and looked at Grandmaster Gufa before turning around. Benefactor, remember to leave from the back door. Grandmaster Gufa reminded. Why? Baya didn't understand. Your husband doesn't believe in such things. If you leave from the front door, why would he be willing to come in? Grandmaster Gufa said confidently. This person's predictions were too accurate. It made Baya suspect that there were surveillance cameras here. Otherwise, how could his predictions be so accurate? She walked out with her head down. In her mind, she kept recalling what Grandmaster Gufa said. You're a person above others, so it's inevitable that you'll be stained with blood. The most important thing is not to leave any traces. If you don't do it cleanly, you'll disappear from this world. Stained with blood? Disappear from this world. She sat on the wooden chair under the ginkgo tree at the back door and stared blankly at the incense burner. The smoke curled up and slowly rose into the sky. After an unknown period of time, Gu Lingqing came out from inside. She saw that Gu Lingqing didn't look too good. She stood up nervously and walked to Gu Lingqing. She held Gu Lingqing's arm. Gu Lingqing looked at her pitifully and didn't say anything. What did he say to you? Baya asked worriedly. I don't believe anything a charlatan says, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. What he meant was that what Grandmaster Gufa said to him was something he didn't want to hear. That was why he was depressed. Baya saw through it but didn't say anything. She asked, what did you write? Baya's bye. Gu Lingqing said faintly and held Baya's hand. Let's go and burn some incense. Okay. She didn't ask any further. She bought some incense and paid for it with Gu Lingqing. She prayed devoutly and burned the incense. She looked at Gu Lingqing. He lowered his head and closed his eyes. He seemed to be chanting something. There was some sadness shrouding him. He was more devout than her. She remembered that he didn't believe in these things. She felt a little bitter in her heart. That proved that what Grandmaster Gufa said to him was not good. Not good at all. So he was actually afraid. Such a tough man actually had times when he was afraid. Her heart was very soft. She held Gu Lingqing's cold hand and smiled. She would do everything to protect him. Even if her hands were stained with blood, she wouldn't care. When she was an angel, she saved the dying, helped the injured and delivered babies. God had never been kind to her. Chapter 424. They had dinner at the temple. When they got home, it was already 16 p.m. Baya was cooking in the kitchen while Gu Lingqing was working in the study. After she finished cooking, she took a look at the study upstairs and went out with her phone and trash. She threw the trash bag away and walked to the big pagoda tree to make a call. Alan, I want to find some mercenaries. Can you help me contact them? Baya asked directly. Yes, of course. What kind of mercenaries do you want? Alan said softly. He did not ask what she wanted the mercenaries for. He would give them to her if she wanted them. The best. I want 5 of them. Ask them to call me when you find them. I will transfer the cost to their card when the time comes, Baya said in a deep voice. Okay. How are you? Alan asked with concern. Well, I'm fine. How about you? Baya asked casually. Heh. Alan chuckled. I don't think I'm doing well. What's wrong? Baya asked with concern. I don't have a fiancé now and my family is pressuring me. I feel pressured at home. So, I might come to your place in advance. Is that okay? Alan sighed. Of course. Let me know when you are coming. I will pick you up at the airport, Baya said sincerely. Alan had helped her a lot. He never asked for anything in return and never forced her. She just hoped that Alan would be well. Then we will contact each other when you are here. I will hang up first. My grandmother is calling me. Sigh. I don't think anything good will happen. Fortunately, she is not my girlfriend. Otherwise I will be annoyed to death, Alan joked. Baya thought of Alan's grandmother. She smiled. When you are with her, you find her annoying. When you are not with her, you start to miss her. People are like this. You should cherish them. Well, that makes sense. I will hang up now, Alan said politely. Okay. After Alan hung up, Baya kept her phone and walked into the house. Gu Lingqing was looking for her. Where did you go? I was just about to call you out for dinner, said Baya with a smile. He washed his hands and scooped the rice without batting an eyelid. Gu Lingqing came over to take the bowl. Let's go to the movies tonight? There's a good movie recently. Sure. Baya agreed readily. He pulled out his chair and sat down to eat. He looked at Gu Lingqing. He didn't make a sound as he ate. He had cultivated himself for a long time. Even when he ate, he hated to look good. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. If we have a daughter, the daughter will look like you. And she will also be very beautiful, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing smiled. Then I'll work hard. Baya's face was slightly red as she picked up a piece of pork for him. He lowered his head to eat. This feeling of eating was very blissful. After dinner, she went to wash the dishes. Gu Lingqing followed her into the kitchen to help her. I can do it alone, said Baiya. I like to be with you, said Gu Lingqing in a deep voice. Gu Lingqing, Baiya called out. Yeah. She looked at him. I'm still worried when I think about working at your company. Can you give me another week? I said I'm asking you to work at my company, but it's actually just a casual job. The main thing is that you can have an identity in the company. You don't have to worry. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to do it, comforted Gu Lingqing. I want to take my job seriously, Gu Lingqing. You'll spoil me too much. Gu Lingqing smiled. He looked at her with a smile in his eyes. I'm just afraid that I'm not good enough to you and let you run away again. I won't run away anymore. I'll be wherever you are. Even if I die, I'm still Gu Lingqing's ghost. I'll still be there wherever you are, said Baiya with a smile. That's good. All right then, I'll wash the dishes from now on. Baiya pursed her lips and smiled. She didn't reply to him and washed the dishes together. After they were done, they went out to watch a movie. Gu Lingqing drove. She booked a seat and went to watch the movie at 8:50 p.m. It was still early when they reached the cinema. Gu Lingqing went to buy some food while Baiya waited in the lounge. What a coincidence. We can bump into each other while watching a movie. Do you think this is fate? Su Jiran's voice was heard. Baiya turned her head. Su Jiran was standing behind her with a box of popcorn. Beside him was Tian Tian. She didn't expect Su Jiran to adopt Tian Tian. Indeed, it's not an ordinary fate. We can see each other every day. Is this a coincidence or on purpose? Baiya's lips twitched as she asked. Do you think I'm following you? Su Jiran smiled evilly. I believe that Mr. Su doesn't have a hobby of masochism, Baiya replied bluntly. I've been thinking, who are you? Who do you work for? How do you know so many things? Su Jiran asked suspiciously. No matter how much I know, I can't compare to even 1/10,000th of what Mr. Su knows. However, I think I happen to know one thing that Mr. Su wants to know the most, Baiya said with certainty. What do I want to know the most? Su Jiran continued to ask. Baiya's lips twitched. She didn't say a word and walked out. Su Jiran grabbed Baiya's arm. Just as his hand touched Baiya, it was grabbed by a stronger force. Gu Lingqing shook off Su Jiran's hand and said coldly, stay away from her. Su Jiran looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously and looked at the calm Baiya. He said in disdain. Gu Lingqing's love for women is nothing more than this. I wonder if Baiya is still alive. Gu Lingqing didn't want to bother with him. He held Baiya's hand and walked into the cinema. With a cold face, he walked to the back seat in the middle and sat down. He placed the plastic bag in his hand into Baiya's hand and looked at the screen with a gloomy expression. Baiya saw that he was unhappy. She ate a popcorn and said with a flattering smile, It's delicious. Do you want it? Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya with a pale face. Did you ignore what I told you before? I told you to stay away from Su Jiran in the future. What if I wasn't here just now? I was already walking away. He was the one who held my hand. Gu Lingqing frowned. Do you think that I don't know anything? Since I know that you are Baiya, I will definitely send someone to protect you. I know your every move. Baiya's face turned red. Including every word she said? Or did he only know what she had done? If I leave when I see him, it will make him suspicious. Baiya explained. I have to pretend to be very different from Baiya. Gu Lingqing held her hand. The more you say, the more mistakes you will make. The best way to hide is to keep him away from you. Baiya nodded. She knew that what Gu Lingqing said was right. However, her current purpose was not to make Su Jiran unable to recognize her. Instead, she wanted to know who was behind Gu Lingqing through Su Jiran. Chapter 425. The movie was very good. It was a hot-blooded patriotic action movie, mainly about the male lead thinking that his fiancée had died, so he went to Africa and gave up. In the end, there was a war, and he stood up for the country in his own name, saving the people who were trapped. There was a scene in the middle that made Baiya's heart ache. The male lead was infected with a virus, and when he was unconscious, he dreamed of his fiancée. He held the bullet that went through his fiancée tightly, crying, "You didn't come back." When she saw the scene, she cried. Tears blurred her eyes, and everything she saw was hazy. Tears kept flowing, and it was very sad. After she left, Gu Lingqing was even more depressed than him. She drank, smoked, and was hospitalized. If she didn't come back in the future, she didn't dare to think about it. She leaned on Gu Lingqing's shoulder. The future was too far, and she couldn't think about it, nor could she control it. All she could do was cherish the present. After watching it, Baya felt like it was not enough. It's really good, I really want to watch it again. Then let's come back tomorrow. These kinds of films that promote patriotism should be filmed more. Gu Lingqing said dotingly. Are you hungry? Baya asked, taking the initiative to hug Gu Lingqing's arm. Let's go for supper. What do you want to eat? Let's go to the buffet. There should be a place that specially serves supper. I'll check on the internet. She opened the mobile data on her phone, went on the app, entered the supper, buffet, and intelligently selected nearest. There really were a lot of places. I know where it is, follow me. Baya pulled Gu Lingqing's hand and walked. Gu Lingqing smiled and followed beside her. It was almost 11 p.m. Other than those who were watching the movie, there were occasionally cars passing by, but it was empty and very quiet. The light from the street lamp fell on the two of them, leaving a pair of shadows on the ground. They walked for 10 minutes, and no one spoke, but they didn't feel lonely or bored. When they passed by the bridge, a gust of wind blew over. Baya looked at the lake. I remember our life on the island. Me too, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya smiled. That crab is really delicious. Bamboo shoot stewed with wild boar is also delicious. Gu Lingqing continued Baya's words. If you like, we can stay there for 2 days this weekend. Sure. She picked up her phone and glanced at the map. It was nearby. She stretched her neck and looked forward. She saw it. There. Yes. As they walked towards the Big Sheep restaurant, Baya's phone rang. Seeing that it was an unfamiliar foreign number, she guessed that it was a mercenary hired by Alan to answer the call. Hello, we are Silver Flame. Someone said that you need us. The other party said in English. Yes. Give me your email address. I will email you the details later. Baya said simply, and then hung up the phone. Who is it? Gu Lingqing was suspicious. Baya took a deep breath and looked at Gu Lingqing. Her eyes were watery and she explained calmly. Lu Shuang is missing. I asked someone to look for her. It might be a good thing that she disappeared. No news is good news. Usually if you find her, others will find her too, Gu Lingqing reminded. I'm afraid that I won't even know what happened to her. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's eat first. Baya didn't want to say more, afraid that Gu Lingqing would see through her. She pulled him into the restaurant and brought out a lot of food, filling up the table. Can you eat so much? Gu Lingqing was doubtful. Baya put the lamb roll into the hot pot. I still have you, right? Gu Lingqing smiled lovingly and answered softly, yes. Halfway through her meal, Baya looked around. She used to not eat at this late hour. When she was hungry, she would stay hungry for the whole night. Then she got used to it. She didn't expect that there would be so many people coming out for supper in the middle of the night. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. Food is the sky. How vast is the sky here? Baya said jokingly. Gu Lingqing chuckled. As long as you want, I can make our sky more vast than theirs. I can make you fat so that there won't be so many people thinking about you. You mean that when I was fat, no one thought about me? Are you judging people by their appearance? Baya narrowed her eyes. If I judged people by their appearance, I wouldn't have forced myself on you at that time. Baya blushed. So you know that you used force. Gu Lingqing looked embarrassed. She cleared her throat and promised, I will treat you well. Yes, Baya replied. She believed him. After the meal, they were too full. They walked back to the cinema together. The car was parked there. There were fewer people on the road. The weather in October was very cold at night, especially after coming out from the warm hot pot restaurant. Gu Lingqing took off his coat and wrapped it around her. Baya looked at him. He was only wearing a suit, but it didn't reduce his handsomeness at all. It added a layer of warmth to him. Gu Lingqing, it's an hour and a half drive back. It's too far. You still have to work tomorrow. Let's stay in a hotel today. Baya suggested. Yes, he said indulgently. Stay near here. Baya waved her phone. Let me look for it. She searched for a hotel nearby on her app. There's one near the cinema. Let's go there now. Okay. Gu Lingqing put his arm around her waist and pulled her to his side. The two of them went there together. In the morning, when she woke up, Gu Lingqing hadn't woken up yet. He was also tired last night. After all, he was the one who did all the work. She tiptoed to the bathroom, turned on her phone, logged into her email, and saw the email sent by the mercenary. Your friend has already paid the advance. Don't worry, we've never failed before. We'll arrive in country A at 1936 country time tomorrow. What do you need us to do? Baya replied the email. After replying, she brushed her teeth, washed her face, and left the bathroom. Gu Lingqing woke up. He got off the bed and kissed her on the forehead. Wait for me. I'll accompany you for your morning jog. It's okay if you don't go for a morning jog today. You can rest for a while more. Baya felt sorry for him. Then let's have breakfast together, Gu Lingqing said gently. Baya nodded. He went into the bathroom. She walked to the window and looked downstairs. Gu Lingqing said that he had sent someone to protect her in secret. It should be someone from the shadows. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to find out. If she wanted to act alone, she would have to ask someone from the shadows to follow her. What are you thinking about? Gu Lingqing put his arm around her waist from behind. Are the people from the shadows outside? Baya asked directly. Yes, they've always been here. Don't worry. Gu Lingqing didn't deny it. Where are they? In the car? Or on the road? Baya was suspicious. Chapter 426. Baya's heart skipped a beat. What he meant was that no matter where she was or what she was doing, he would have a rough idea. It was impossible for her to hide anything from him. No wonder. She always felt that Gu Lingqing knew a lot. Gu Lingqing looked down at her and continued. I bought this third eye for you. I don't believe that you're dead, so I thought that as long as you appeared somewhere in country A, I would be able to find you immediately. However, I don't have money, so I could only take over the family business. Baya lowered her eyes. Her heart felt sour and warm at the same time. She felt warm because Gu Lingqing had done everything for her. She felt sour because she was useless and couldn't protect him. She reached out and hugged Gu Lingqing. She took a few deep breaths and imprinted Gu Lingqing's smell in her mind forever. Gu Lingqing smiled slightly and hugged her shoulders. Are you hungry? It's weird. I ate so much last night, but now I feel even hungrier than usual, Baya said with a smile. Eat more. You'll gain some weight. He hugged her and walked. Okay, Baya replied. They went to the restaurant together. Breakfast was buffet. Our dog seems to be really pitiful. We have a feast here, but it doesn't even have breakfast, Baya said apologetically. I'll send a part-time worker over today to clean up, take care of Xiaobai, buy groceries and so on. You don't have to work so hard. It won't affect our daily life, Gu Lingqing suggested. You always think more thoroughly than me. Baya poured some milk into a cup while Gu Lingqing stood beside her. Gu Lingqing, what are you going to do next? After all, Xiaohi's case will be heard at any time, Baya asked tentatively. Gu Lingqing also poured some milk. I have already sent people to S country. First of all, we have to confirm the authenticity of this matter and get the evidence. Otherwise, once Xiaohi goes to court, even if she says it, no one will believe it. She will also put herself in danger. Since she is not a spy, you must ensure her safety. But even if we go to S country to investigate, we won't be able to find out who the mastermind is, right? What are you going to do about this? Baya was worried. They are very cautious in their work, and they don't reveal anything. Even if I suspect them, I can't find any clues. I can only wait for an opportunity, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. She did not like the word waiting, because before the opportunity came, he was too dangerous. However, she didn't say anything. Besides, she wouldn't get any results just by pressuring Gu Lingqing. I think the fried noodles here are pretty good. I'll go get some. Baya changed the topic. She took a plate of fried noodles, soup dumplings, and some vegetables and found an empty seat to sit down. Gu Lingqing took 2 plates, one with chicken salad, and the other with sandwiches. This chicken salad is pretty good. He placed the plate in front of him. Later, you go to work and I'll go home. When I come back tonight, I'll cook for you, Bai said with a smile. Okay. Gu Lingqing took a bite of the sandwich. Bai looked at him, thought for a while, and said tentatively, Gu Lingqing, other than you, who else in country A has the eye of heaven? I'm not sure about that, but it's expensive, and the source is unknown. Most people won't buy it, Gu Lingqing explained. Do you think Su Jiran has it? I always feel that if it's a coincidence that we keep bumping into each other, it's too much of a coincidence, Bai guessed. Gu Lingqing paused for a while. He might really have it. After all, he has hundreds of millions of yuan. Moreover, he's been looking for you. I'll have to investigate whether he has it or not. If that's the case, he should know our address, right? Bai was worried. That's not possible. First, there won't be Eye of Heaven in places without surveillance. Second, I'm a VIP user of Eye of Heaven. I can block certain sections of the road. He won't be able to find where we live. Unless he's following us. However, there are people from the shadow around me. If he's following us, I'll know. He also knows that I'll know. There's no need for him to waste time like this, Gu Lingqing explained. The shadow used to belong to the special forces, right? Can you still transfer them now? Bai was doubtful. They used to belong to me. After I left, other than Leng Shuang, who was arranged to be the chief of the special forces, the rest followed me out. I can still afford to take care of them, Gu Lingqing explained. Bai understood now. No wonder she felt that Shen Yiyan was still afraid of him. Thinking of Shen Yiyan, she thought of Lu Shuang. She wondered how Lu Shuang was doing now. She lowered her head and continued eating. I'll get someone to send you back later, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Bai nodded. After dinner, she followed Gu Lingqing to the company. Zhang Xingyu came over to send her back. He smiled and said, You're already together with President Gu. Ah, I knew it. President Gu treats you differently. Bai did not deny it. Since Gu Lingqing asked Zhang Xingyu to send her back, he must be someone that Gu Lingqing trusted. She looked at the surveillance cameras. There were no surveillance cameras after they entered Yongning Road. However, without surveillance cameras, she still had to ask Aning who was following her. Zhang Xingyu, do you know the Aning who is protecting me? Bai asked directly. Yes, we used to be in the same group, Zhang Xingyu said straightforwardly. Bai smiled. So, Zhang Xingyu used to be Aning too. Is he following us now? Bai continued to ask. Not now because I'm here, Zhang Xingyu explained. Then how do we do the handover? What I mean is, are you sure he can protect me? That won't be a problem. We have the best chemistry. What kind of chemistry? Bai asked doubtfully. Zhang Xingyu saw that Bai was worried, so he said patiently, We have the third eye. There will be 4 people in the surveillance room. There will be 1 more person. Yesterday there were 2 people. They were in the hotel yesterday and followed us to the company. When I arrived, they could go back and rest because they were on the night shift last night. After I came and sent you home, there were 3 Dark Shadows people at your house to protect your safety at all times. 3? What if there are a few hundred of them? A few hundred? It's such a big commotion. We've already monitored them when they first set off. There are quite a lot of Aning. Don't worry, President Gu will definitely protect you, Zhang Xingyu said confidently. Then, what if I ask you to let me go now? Will there still be people protecting me? They will be here in 10 minutes. During this time, I will protect you, Zhang Xingyu said with a smile. Chapter 427. Stop the car at the entrance of the wet market. I'm going to buy some groceries, Bai said. All right, I didn't expect you to cook. No wonder President Gu likes you so much. Zhang Xingyu smiled. Bai looked at him. Did you get to where you are now by flattering others? Haha, something like that. Zhang Xingyu was not angry. He smiled and said. Bai smiled and felt apologetic. She should not have vented her anger on an innocent person. Zhang Xingyu stopped the car at the parking lot near the wet market and accompanied Baya to buy groceries. She bought a caddy of silver thread noodles, 2 caddies of chicken wings, a caddy of shrimps, cucumbers, cabbage, and chicken broccoli. When she passed by a fishing gear store, she bought a fishing rod and 2 black goldfish. You made so many delicious dishes today. Zhang Xingyu helped Baya carry the groceries. Yes, do you want to stay for dinner tonight? Baya asked gently. Zhang Xingyu blushed. No thanks. President Gu must have other things for me to do. I won't disturb the 2 of you. Then I'll treat you to dinner another day. Baya was referring to the people in the dark shadows. It would be easier to discover their secrets if she knew their faces. Okay. Zhang Xingyu replied happily. He sent her back to the villa. Baya put the groceries in the kitchen, fed the dog with dog food, and let the dog out to play. The dog was very happy that it was not in the cage. It ran around Baya. Baya went back to the kitchen. After cleaning the prawns, she cooked them in water. While cooking the prawns, she divided the noodles into 5 small packets and put them in the refrigerator. Then she marinated the chicken wings. As soon as the water boiled, she scooped up the prawns and splashed them with cold water. She quickly let the prawns cool and drain the water. Then, she sealed them with plastic wrap and put them in the refrigerator. After cleaning, she had a simple meal of noodles and a poached egg at noon. After eating, she took a small spatula and a plastic bag to the ground at the back door to catch 5 earthworms. Then, she took a fishing rod to the park's lake to fish. She guessed that this park should belong to Gu Lingqing. She was the only one in the entire park. He looked around and didn't find anyone from the dark shadow. As she basked in the sun and fished, she picked up her phone and sent an email to the mercenary. Gu Lingqing has the 3rd eye. You must be careful not to be photographed when you work. You can hide in an unmonitored area and contact him by email. After sending it, she deleted the email and looked at the surface of the lake. The buoy was being dragged violently. She immediately pulled out the pole. It was a very big black carp. It was estimated to be more than 20 kilograms. Baya smiled. His luck was pretty good. She spent a lot of effort to get the fish into the bucket. Then she stopped fishing and called Gu Lingqing. Do you know what I'm doing? Baya asked happily. Gu Lingqing noticed that she was in a good mood, so he smiled slightly. I'm fishing. I just caught a black carp. It's very big, Baya said with a smile. It seems that I'm going to have a good meal tonight. I still remember that the black carp you made is very delicious, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Yeah, I'm going home to make fish now. Do you want to call your friend over? The 2 of us can't finish it. I'll get home at about 17 o'clock. But don't be too tired. Gu Lingqing felt sorry for her. I won't be tired from doing this little housework. I'll wait for you. Baya hung up the phone and reeled in the fishing line. A black shadow appeared behind her. She was shocked. She turned around and was shocked again. The man in front of her had disguised himself as a rock. His face couldn't be seen clearly. The chief asked me to help you carry the bucket, the man said honestly. He scared her. She was a little embarrassed and picked up the bucket. Do you usually hide here? Baya asked tentatively. No, it's a moving rock. I put rocks everywhere, the man explained. Baya laughed. Putting rocks everywhere? Haha, it's so funny. Isn't it very hard? There are many mosquitoes in the summer, right? Baya asked. It's not hard. At least I can lie down, sit, and change various positions. There's a tree over there. Usually, I can only stand, he said happily. Tree? There's another one. What's it for? Baya took the opportunity to ask. The man just laughed and didn't answer. Baya saw that he didn't want to answer, so she didn't continue to ask, lest he got suspicious. After a while, they arrived at the door of her house. Come in and sit for a while. Thank you for your hard work. Baya opened the door. It's okay. The man put down the bucket and ran away quickly. It was really a moving rock. She entered the house and went to the kitchen to clean the big black carp. She was very curious. Where would the other one hide and what was he wearing? Soon, she cleaned the fish and prepared the fish head. Half an hour later, she started to stew the soup. The middle part was marinated and steamed. The other part was braised. After deboning, She chopped it into mud. A part was made into fish balls, a part was made into fried fish steak, and the tail part was made into grilled fish. She put cucumber, cabbage root, and some prawns into the grilled fish. Just as she finished grilling the fish, she heard the sound of cars parking outside. It seemed like there was more than one car. She washed her hands and ran to the door. Gu Lingqing came over. Beside him was Zhang Xingyu, carrying braised food. One was Leng Tong. She had seen him when she met Xiaohe. She didn't know the other one. He was also a man. Thank you for your hard work, Gu Lingqing said gently. Bai Ye smiled. It's not hard at all. It's to serve the people. Are you guys drinking today? I'm done grilling fish. You guys can eat first. Okay. Gu Lingqing held Bai Ye's hand and entered the house. Zhang Xingyu carried the braised food to the kitchen. Bai Ye let go of Gu Lingqing's hand and looked at Zhang Xingyu. I'll get you a bowl. Thank you, Zhang Xingyu said with an honest smile. You can go eat with them. I'll be fine here. Bai Ye took out the bowl. I'll help you here, Zhang Xingyu said uncomfortably. It's okay. You can't help me much even if you stay here. They need someone to take care of them when they're sitting together. Bai Ye saw through him. Zhang Xingyu scratched his head. You're right. Then I'll take the fish head soup and grilled fish out first. It's too hot and heavy. He carried the fish soup out respectfully. Bai Ye also put the braised food in the bowl and carried it out. The fish was done. She also made shrimp with ingot cola chicken wings, stir-fried cabbage leaves and stir-fried chicken cabbage. After everything was done, she sat next to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing held her hand and looked at her with a gentle gaze. This glass of wine is for sister-in-law. I'm sorry for not being a good host before. Leng Ningqing apologized. It's okay. Bai Ye poured herself a glass of wine. Gu Lingqing snatched her glass and explained. She's preparing for pregnancy. She can't drink for now. I'm sorry. No wonder the chief didn't drink just now. I'll drink this glass. I hope you guys will have children soon. Leng Ningqing drank all the wine in the glass. Chapter 428. Him. Who? Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing in confusion. It's best if it doesn't become a big deal. So we need you to report it directly and let the higher-ups make a decision first, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. If we report it, I'm afraid the person behind the scenes will know too. It'll be harder to find him again, Leng Shuang suggested. At least after everyone knows, Xiaohe will be released and her life won't be in danger. She has been wandering for many years. It's time to prove her innocence. Gu Lingqing made up his mind. But in this way, it'll be hard to get rid of the danger to the chief. Leng Shuang was worried. No, after the people above know about it, they will investigate it thoroughly. The person behind the scenes is a very cautious person. The more cautious he is, the more careful he is, the less he will act. Maybe the people above can really investigate and find some clues. Gu Lingqing analyzed. What about him? Let him go. Anyway, there's a video. He won't dare to act rashly, Gu Lingqing ordered. Okay. That person took the order. He drank the liquor in one gulp and looked at Bai Ye. Bai Ye felt that his eyes were too sharp as if he wanted to see through her mind. When have you decided to get married? Because of some special circumstances, it's a secret marriage for now. When the wedding banquet is held, we'll definitely invite everyone, Gu Lingqing explained. The relationship between you and your father hasn't eased yet? Leng Shuang asked worriedly. That's his character. There's no such thing as easing or not. Eat more. I caught this fish in the lake. It's very delicious. Gu Lingqing changed the topic. They didn't say anything, afraid that the air would suddenly become quiet. Zhang Xingyu also saw it. He broke the silence with a smile. This fish is so delicious. It's more delicious than any fish I've ever eaten. How did you make it? It's flour mixed with cheese and fried with butter. The fish is the freshest, Bai Ye explained. Did Miss Wu live abroad before? Leng Shuang asked suspiciously. I stayed there for a while, Bai Ye said vaguely. No wonder you like butter cheese. It's high in calories and foreigners like it a lot. Leng Ying took a bite of the fish steak. But it's really delicious. Regardless of the fish steak, This grilled fish is delicious too. Miss Wu, have you learned cooking before? Zhang Xingyu complimented. No. Maybe it's because the fish is fresher. After Bai Ye answered, nobody spoke again. The atmosphere became cold again. Leng Shuai put down his chopsticks, looked at Gu Lingqing and asked, Chief, when are you going back to the military? Gu Lingqing also put down his chopsticks. I'm still talking to Shen Yiyan about this matter. Once there's a decision, I'll let you know immediately. I heard a rumor that Shen Yiyan is keeping a mistress outside. This matter will affect the next presidential election. If you return to the military region, you should be able to become the president. After all, you were a popular candidate in the past. Coupled with the power of the Gu family, if you operate well these 2 years, you will definitely become the president. Leng Shuai said painstakingly. An idea flashed in Bai Ye's mind. Gu Lingqing, I've been thinking why someone wants to harm you. Why not earlier or later, but recently? Could it be related to the possibility of you becoming the president? Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye, and his eyes darkened. Well, it seems to make sense. As soon as something happened to Shen Yiyan, someone started to deal with President Gu. Zhang Xingyu agreed with Bai Ye's words. They don't want you to be the president because you're a threat to those who can be the president. They need to get rid of you as soon as possible. Shen Yiyan is one, Su Zheng is another. Who else is the popular candidate in the last election? Bai Ye asked Gu Lingqing. Shen Yiyan, Su Zheng, Lin Shatong, Zhu Qiuani, and Sheng Dongcheng. It should be these 5. Leng Shuai said with familiarity. Think about it. Should we start with these 5? Bai Ye suggested. Cheng Qian, have someone pay close attention to these 5 people. Yes, sir. Cheng Qian stood up and saluted, full of passion. Bai Ye looked down, hoping that they were heading in the right direction this time. I'm thinking, if that person treats Gu Lingqing as an imaginary enemy, he should treat the others as his imaginary enemies too. Pay close attention, and report immediately if there's any problem, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes. I'll get someone to do it now. Cheng Qian went out. What do I need to do on my side? Leng Shuai asked. Cheng Qian, help me with this. I'll leave the reporting to you, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes. Leng Shuai also saluted respectfully like Cheng Qian. Bai Ye really had the illusion of when Gu Lingqing was still in the military. He was upright and plain-spoken, powerful and bright and just. In her heart, he was the most qualified soldier. The corner of her mouth curled up slightly. After the meal, Gu Lingqing helped to wash the dishes. Your dinner is delicious. My brothers like it very much too, Gu Lingqing complimented. You can ask them to come over often. 3 heads are better than 1. If they discuss things together, they'll be more quick-witted. Anyway, I have time to cook, Bai Ye said softly. Gu Lingqing smiled, and the way he looked at her was especially sentimental. I finally know why I like you. Why? Bai Ye blurted out. Because you make me feel happy, Gu Lingqing said. Bai Ye pursed her lips and smiled. Washing the dishes was originally boring, but with him by her side, everyone felt warm. After washing the dishes, she fed the dog and was carried into the room by Gu Lingqing. The 2 of them fell on the bed together. The doctor said that this is your ovulation period, right? Gu Lingqing asked as he hugged her waist tightly. Bai Ye blushed. Yes. Got it. He turned over. Bai Ye pressed against his chest. Let's take a shower first. My body is full of the smell of food. He took a deep breath. The feeling of home. Bai Ye was amused by him. You should marry a cook. Don't talk nonsense, Gu Lingqing said seriously. Bai Ye pursed her lips and looked at him with a smile. He looked at her sweet face and also stopped being serious. You deserve to be punished. As soon as he said that, he kissed her lips, and it was another night of extreme entanglement. The next day, when Bai Ye woke up, the sky was already very bright. Gu Lingqing was not by her side. She looked at the time. It was 9:30. There was a note written on the bedside table. The handwriting was smooth and smooth. With one look, she knew that it was written by Gu Lingqing. She picked up the note. On it was written, Today, I made century egg and lean meat porridge and put it in the rice cooker to heat it up. When you wake up, The dough sticks will probably be cold. Heat up the soybean milk and put it in the soybean milk to eat. Baya smiled and lay on the bed again. This feeling was so blissful. Her phone rang. She picked it up and looked at it. The mercenary had sent an email. It was a simple sentence, done. Wait for the next step. Chapter 429. She got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, and went out to eat the breakfast prepared by Gu Lingqing. After putting a recording pen in her bag, she called Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan's phone rang 5 times before it was picked up. He had a cold cough and asked, "Hello, who is this?" "I'm Wu Nian. Are you free at noon? I want to ask you out for tea," Baya said simply. "Miss Wu?" Zhou Hailan was very surprised. "I don't think there's anything to talk to Miss Wu. Why did you call me all of a sudden?" "Ahem." Zhou Hailan coughed again. "There's something important I want to talk to Miss Zhou about. Tell me the place, and I'll be there now," Baya said. Zhou Hailan was silent for 3 seconds. "I've caught a cold recently, and it's not convenient for me to meet you." "It doesn't matter. I can go to your house. Just give me 10 minutes. It's about Mr. Gu. I think you'd like to hear it," Baya said strongly. "Okay, come to the cafe on Boai Road. I'll be there in about an hour," Zhou Hailan said. "See you there." Baya hung up the phone. She went out and drove to the market. She bought freshly slaughtered chicken, tea tree mushrooms, Artemisia celengensis, and lentils and walked into the pharmacy. "Beauty, what do you need?" "I can help you," the shop assistant said enthusiastically. "I'm just looking around." Baya walked in, glanced at the medicine on the cabinet, took out 4 pregnancy test papers, and handed them to the cashier. A total of 12 yuan. Baya put a white bottle into her bag, took out her wallet from her bag, and paid the cashier. She went out and drove. She didn't go to the cafe on Boai Road but back. She looked at the rearview mirror. At this time, the people from the shadows should be following her. She sped up and made a turn. She looked at the rearview mirror again. Sure enough, a silver Porsche also sped up, made a turn and followed behind her. The driver was still wearing a black cap, so she couldn't see his face clearly. She slowed down, and so did the silver-gray Porsche. She pursed her lips and glanced at the time in the car. After a while his phone rang. It was Zhou Hailan. Baya picked up the call without any surprise. "Miss Wu, where are you?" "An hour has passed," Zhou Hailan said unhappily. "I'm on the way. Something happened." "Wait for me," Baya said in a deep voice. He turned around and drove towards the cafe on Fraternity Street. Just as she was about to reach the cafe, her phone rang. She saw that it was a call from Gu Lingqing and answered. "Have you eaten?" Gu Lingqing asked. "Not yet. I received a call from Zhou Hailan. She asked me to meet her at the cafe. I'm going there now. I saw the people from the shadows. It's that silver-gray Porsche, right?" Baya asked with a smile. Gu Lingqing didn't answer her. She asked in surprise. "She asked you to meet her at the cafe?" "Maybe it's because I called her before." "Why did you call her?" Gu Lingqing was nervous. "I thought about it. Since Zhou Hailan is a breakthrough, I can start by befriending her. Maybe I'll get something good out of it." "Stop fooling around. She won't be friends with you. She's very guarded against you. You can't get close to her." "Didn't I say before that I'll handle it?" Gu Lingqing said helplessly. "I'll give it a try. It's hard to say. Don't worry, your people are around me. I'll be fine. I'll hang up first." Baya hung up the phone. She looked sharply at the cafe and stopped the car. She got out of the car and went into the cafe. She called Zhou Hailan. "I'm here." "Where are you?" "I'm in the private room, room 203. Get the waiter to bring me there," Zhou Hailan said while holding back her anger. Baya looked at the waiter. "Please bring me to room 203. "Okay. This way." The waiter enthusiastically led the way to the entrance of room 203. Baya pushed the door open and entered. Zhou Hailan saw Baya. She frowned and said in surprise, "You've lost a lot of weight." "I purposely went on a diet. I was too fat before," Baya replied. She glanced at the table. Zhou Hailan was drinking chrysanthemum tea. "I didn't expect you to be so beautiful after losing weight. Why are you looking for me about Lingqing?" Zhou Hailan went straight to the point. Baiya sat opposite her. Gu Lingqing has 2 sons. I heard that you're taking care of one of them. The other one has already gone overseas? I'm curious too. Didn't I ask you to be a home tutor? I saw that Lingqing likes you. Why did you suddenly stop? Zhou Hailan asked curiously. Baiya picked up the chrysanthemum teapot and poured water for Zhou Hailan. Because of some special reasons, I went to Country X. So this matter has been temporarily put on hold. Country X? That's pretty good. However, what do you want to tell me about Gu Lingqing? Zhou Hailan urged. To be exact, this matter is about you. Baiya picked up the teacup and passed it to Zhou Hailan. About me? Zhou Hailan looked at Baiya suspiciously. She did not take the teacup from Baiya and said defensively, What are you trying to do? I hope that Miss Wu will be straightforward. I don't have that much time to waste with you. Baiya put down the teacup and smiled. Miss Zhou should be an abandoned chess piece now. What? Zhou Hailan stood up in shock and raised her voice. What are you talking about? What abandoned chess piece? Ridiculous. She walked out of the door angrily. You've done so many things for that person. In the end, you're sick and alone. You'll die alone in the future. I really don't know why you're doing this, Baiya said slowly and poured the white medicine into her teacup. Zhou Hailan stopped and turned around. Miss Wu, did you get the wrong person? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Your last mission was a scam. You knew it from the start. Why did you willingly destroy your face? Women should look good to please themselves. You should love beauty. Baiya glanced at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan widened her eyes and looked at Baiya. Baiya smiled and glanced at the seat opposite her. Do you want to hear the condition I'm giving you? Zhou Hailan hesitated and sat opposite Baiya. What do you want to say? Work with me. I'll let you and your child go far away and no longer be restricted by anyone, Baiya suggested. What do you want me to work with you for? Tell me what he asked you to do. Baiya looked at Zhou Hailan. I've always been free. This condition of yours is not attractive to me. Chapter 430. Zhou Hailan's face turned pale. What do you mean by that? Zhou Hailan, think about it. What do you have now? Men? Reputation? Status? Or do you think you can still get close to Gu Lingqing? Let me tell you, it's impossible. Gu Lingqing has already married me. I won't let you have the chance to get close to me, even if I die, Baiya said coldly. She stood up straight and looked down at her. Zhou Hailan looked at her in shock. That's impossible. Gu Lingqing only loves Baiya. He won't marry anyone else. Don't you think I have the same voice as Baiya? You're more ruthless than her. She won't do such a thing. Why would Gu Lingqing marry such a ruthless woman like you? Zhou Hailan said anxiously. I'm nothing compared to your ruthlessness. Back then during that mission, Gu Lingqing brought so many people with him, and they were all killed by you. Those people were your brothers. Of course, you're so ruthless to yourself. You can even ruin your beauty, let alone others. I don't know why people like you are still alive, Zhou Hailan said coldly. That's because they deserve to die. Wu Nian, don't talk nonsense if you don't know anything. If they don't die, more people will die, Zhou Hailan said impulsively. Don't you think it's funny that more people will die if you don't die? Many illegal organizations also think of themselves as saviors and kill more people. So you're destined to live alone until you die, Baiya said coldly. Zhou Hailan smashed the glass and picked up the shard. He quickly pressed the shard against Gu Lingqing's neck and said with hatred, Believe it or not, I will kill you. Baiya looked at Zhou Hailan fearlessly and said, Of course I do. You've already killed so many people anyway, I won't make a difference. However, if I die, you and Gu Ruoxin can forget about living. Gu Lingqing's dark shadow has always been protecting me. You should know that. Wu Nian, what exactly do you want? Zhou Hailan asked while gnashing his teeth. Baiya looked at her deeply. Tell me the truth about that mission. He won't let me go. Zhou Hailan was worried. I can make you disappear from the face of the earth and live a good life with Xiao Xian. With your EQ and looks, you will find a man who loves you, Baiya advised. Zhou Hailan looked at her. How can you make me disappear from the face of the earth? I think you should have heard about Shun Ian having a lover. I made his lover disappear from the face of the earth. Do you think I don't have the ability to do that? Baya asked. I just don't believe you. Also, who exactly are you? Are you working for Shun Ian? Zhou Hailon looked at her and asked. You don't need to know who I am. If you want to be reborn, only I can help you. Baya looked at Zhou Hailon with a burning gaze. Zhou Hailon looked down and put her hand down. The shard fell to the ground. I need to think about it. I can't answer you for now. You have 24 hours to think about it. Don't do anything that you will regret. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the consequences. Baya said coldly. She walked towards the door and got into the car. She took out the voice recorder from her bag and switched it off. She had drugged the teacup. If Zhou Hailon drank it, she should be able to hypnotize Zhou Hailon and maybe get some information out of him. Unfortunately, Zhou Hailon was too cautious. She stewed the freshly slaughtered chicken and put in the tea tree mushrooms. Then she used the chicken soup noodles. After eating the chicken soup noodles, she took a leisurely nap. When she woke up, she went to dig for earthworms at the back door and went fishing at the lake. Time passed. She looked at her watch. It was almost 17 p.m. She had caught 6 or 7 small carps. Zhou Hailon had not replied to her message. It would be a lie to say that she was not anxious. However, even if she was anxious, there was nothing she could do. The choice was in Zhou Hailon's hands. She said that if they didn't die, more people would die. She kept thinking about what she meant. It was too profound and she could not understand it. From afar, she saw Gu Lingqing's car coming. She reeled in the fishing line. The tea tree mushroom chicken soup was ready for dinner. It was already ready. She just needed to heat it up. She would stir-fry some lentils and Artemisia selengensis. Soon, the small carps would be cooked tomorrow. The car stopped in front of her. Gu Lingqing pushed the door open and got out. Baya saw Zhou Hailon sitting in the front passenger seat and also pushed the door open. She had a rough idea of what was going on. Xiao Nian, you caught Xiao Xian to threaten Zhou Hailon? Gu Lingqing asked directly. He was very surprised and could not believe it. Baya stared at Gu Lingqing. If Gu Lingqing knew that she had caught Xiao Xian, he would definitely ask her to let Xiao Xian go because he was ashamed of such behavior. It seemed that Zhou Hailon had chosen to be her enemy. No. Baya replied coldly. You're lying. Zhou Hailon walked in front of Baya agitatedly. You said you caught Xiao Xian. Why would I catch Xiao Xian? Zhou Hailon, did you ask me out today just to frame me? Baya asked calmly. What do you mean I asked you out? You asked me out. You said you caught Xiao Xian. Xiao Xian really couldn't be caught. Who else could it be other than you? Zhou Hailon pushed Baya. Baya took a step back. Gu Lingqing held her waist and protected her behind him. He said to Zhou Hailon coldly, Speak properly. I believe her. Gu Lingqing, she is Shun Yian's person. Shun Yian found a person who has the same pronunciation as Baya and put her beside you. If you believe her, you won't even know how you die in the future. Zhou Hailon said anxiously. That's my business. I will find Xiao Xian. You can go back now. Gu Lingqing asked him to leave. Since she framed me, then Xiao Xian must be hidden by herself. Baya said coldly. Utter nonsense. Wu Nian, you'll be struck by lightning if you continue like this. You haven't even been struck by lightning. It's not my turn. Look, Lingqing. Listen. She admitted it. Zhou Hailon held Gu Lingqing's arm. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. I didn't admit it. I don't think I'm wrong. Of course, Xiao Xian is your son. You should do what you should do. I'll go back to cook. She picked up the bucket and walked into the kitchen. She was going to kill the fish. She was going to eat them tomorrow. She killed them one by one. Behind her, Gu Lingqing's aura approached. She was washing the fish. Xiaoya, did you hide Xiao Xian? Gu Lingqing asked again. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. You believe her? She has no reason to frame you. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Chapter 431. I've checked the sky eye. The person who kidnapped Xiao Xian was very cautious. He wore a cap, so we couldn't get a picture of his face. The van they took was a fake license plate and disappeared in a section without surveillance. It's not easy to find him. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Gu Lingqing, it's actually very simple. You're too worried. If I kidnapped Xiao Xian, I would never hurt Xiao Xian. If it was Zhou Hailan who kidnapped Xiao Xian, she wouldn't hurt her son either. In this case, Xiao Xian must be safe, Baiya analyzed. Fill the pot and pour oil into it. Gu Lingqing remained silent and did not speak. Baiya poured the fish into the pot. Before the water was drained, it made a sizzling sound, and some oil splashed on the back of her hand. Gu Lingqing covered the pot and turned down the fire. He took her hand to the sink and turned on the tap. Are you angry that I don't trust you? When Baiya saw Gu Lingqing's concern, heartache, and guilt, her heart ached. He was right not to trust her because she was the one who had captured Xiao Xian. She was just wasting her trust with him. But it didn't matter, as long as he was safe. A little, Baiya said simply. Not wanting him to notice too much, he pulled out his hand and opened the lid of the pot. Gu Lingqing grabbed the shovel and stood in front of Baiya. Be careful not to splash oil again. Let me do it. Baiya stood aside and said in a low voice, Don't worry, Xiao Xian will be fine. Well, how are you going to cook the fish? Gu Lingqing asked. There's chicken soup tonight. Let's braise it. Let me do it. Baiya picked up the bottle of cooking wine and poured the wine into it. The boiling situation in the pot immediately calmed down. Gu Lingqing returned the shovel to Baiya. She flipped through it. She was thinking about something just now and forgot to add garlic and ginger. She added them again, added soy sauce, soup, and covered the pot. Her phone rang. It was Zhou Hailan. She hung up. Gu Lingqing hadn't left yet. He said in a low voice, Take it. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Hailan's phone rang again. Baiya picked up the call and turned on the speaker. Wen Yan, what exactly do you want? Zhou Hailan asked anxiously. What do you want? Baiya asked. Xiao Xian is still young. Come at me if you can. Don't hurt the innocent. I promise you that I will never appear in front of Gu Lingqing, and I will not let Xiao Xian steal Gu Lingqing. Are you satisfied now? First of all, I don't care whether you appear in front of Gu Lingqing or not. You have no power over me at all. It's up to you. Secondly, Xiao Xian is Gu Lingqing's son. This can't be changed. It has nothing to do with stealing. Blood melts with water. Do you understand? Besides, Gu Lingqing doesn't believe you. So don't waste your efforts. We have a good relationship. You can't sow discord between us. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Baiya said coldly. She hung up the phone. She put the phone on the bar. I suspect that she said that on purpose because she knew you were there. What do you think? If I kidnapped Xiao Xian, my purpose wouldn't be to let her go. What I want is for her to confess. You know what I mean? I know. I'm sorry that you have been wronged. Gu Lingqing said apologetically. Baiya's eyes darkened. The more he trusted her, the more guilty she felt. I'll cook. You can go out. I don't feel comfortable with you here. I'll be able to eat in half an hour. Okay. Gu Lingqing turned around and left. Baiya put the rice into the rice cooker. She cut the lentils and shredded meat. She opened another pot and stir-fried the shredded meat and lentils. Zhou Hailan called again. She thought it was about time. She picked up the call and pressed the record button. Wen Yan, let me tell you. Don't think that I'll be controlled by you just because you kidnapped Xiao Xian. I won't. Even if I die, I won't tell you the truth. I don't care about Xiao Xian anyway. At most, I'll have another child. Zhou Hailan said fiercely. Baiya fell silent. She felt sorry for Xiao Xian. Xiao Xian's love for Zhou Hailan was real. It was a form of favoritism. If anyone hurt Zhou Hailan, he would risk his life. If Xiao Xian knew that Zhou Hailan would treat him like that, he would probably be bitterly disappointed. Everyone has a choice. Their choice determines the outcome. Although I don't know why you're framing me. I just hope that you don't get caught in a trap of your own making. Baiya hung up. Her phone rang again. It was Zhou Hailan again. Baiya picked up. What do you mean? Zhou Hailan was furious. Baya chuckled. From now on, I'll block you. Don't call me again. With that said, she hung up and blocked Zhou Hailan. She continued cooking. Half an hour later, the dishes were ready and served on the dining table. Gu Lingqing frowned and ordered, "Continue to investigate. Do a carpet search. I don't believe that someone can fly into the sky. Even if he does, I'll be able to catch him." Baya sat down opposite him and started eating. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya with a dark expression. "Xiaoya, I know that you want to find out who's behind this. But if I have to sacrifice others to protect myself, I'm not willing to do so." Baya replied and continued eating with her head lowered. Gu Lingqing frowned slightly. He did not say anything else and continued eating with his head lowered. The atmosphere was unusually strange because of the silence. Even the dog felt it and barked twice. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. "Give me your phone." Gu Lingqing did not hesitate and passed the phone to her. Baya looked through his contacts and found Leng Shuai. After noting down Leng Shuai's number, she continued to look for Zhou Hailan's number and blocked Zhou Hailan's number. Gu Lingqing's frown deepened. Baya looked at his furrowed brows and felt her heart ache. "Your people are following Zhou Hailan, so you know her movements like the back of your hand. I've blocked her number, but it won't affect you taking care of her. Of course, if you feel that it's necessary to keep her number, you can remove her from the blacklist. I didn't delete her number. Also, you should know her identity. It's not safe for you to bring her here. I'll leave after dinner. If your people want to follow me, they can follow me. It doesn't matter if they don't. You don't have to make such a big fuss over this." Gu Lingqing did not hide his pain. At the same time, he felt annoyed. "I don't want things to get worse. I think we need to calm down for a while. You know where to find me. Also," Baya paused and looked at him deeply. "Maybe you haven't even realized it, but your care and trust for Zhou Hailan is beyond your imagination. So when you saw her call me, you started to suspect me again. I think this is one of the main reasons why Xia He has been wronged for so many years." Baya put down his chopsticks and stood up. "I'm full. You can eat slowly." Chapter 432. Baya's heart ached. Gu Lingqing wasn't wrong at all. She was the one who was wrong. She was the one who kidnapped Xiao Xian. She couldn't blame him for not trusting her. Her eyes turned red, but she quickly controlled her emotions and looked at him. "It's okay, I'm the one who's in a bad mood." "You're right. Since I brought Zhou Hailan here, I'm afraid this place isn't safe anymore. I was in a hurry and didn't think too much. I'll find a place to move tomorrow. It's okay, I really want to calm down for a few days." Baya rejected him. She really had something to do. It would be more convenient if she left this place. She knew where Gu Lingqing wouldn't be able to find her. "What about after you calm down? Do you want to separate? We've been through so much. Is there anything we can't get through? Between Xiaohe and Zhou Hailan, I might trust Zhou Hailan more. But between Zhou Hailan and you, I definitely trust you. I don't agree to separate. I won't disturb you when you're here, and you can calm down," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. His heart ached at the thought of separating. It was as though there was a hole in his heart. Countless streams of acid flowed out and into his blood. Baya lowered her eyes. Her face was so pale that there was no color at all. Her rationality and her heart were fighting. In the end, her rationality lost to her heart. She nodded and walked to Gu Lingqing's side. She hugged him and closed her eyes as tears flowed down her cheeks. One day, he would understand that he had married a weak woman. She was so weak that she couldn't live without him. "Eat some more. You haven't eaten much," Gu Lingqing said gently and looked at her. Baya couldn't hold back her tears. He found out. Gu Lingqing looked at her with heartache. "There won't be anything between Zhou Hailan and I. I swear that if I find out that Zhou Hailan is doing something hostile, I will send her to court. Xiao Xian is my child, and I'm just responsible for him." Baya sniffled and sat down on his seat. She wiped her tears. Gu Lingqing moved her bowl and chopsticks in front of her, sat down next to her, and smiled slightly. "Are you still jealous of me?" Baya didn't say anything. She picked up some meat from the fish and put it into Gu Lingqing's bowl. Eat. Gu Lingqing knew that Baiya was shy, so he didn't pursue the matter. He lowered his head and placed the fish's belly meat back into Baiya's bowl. You eat. After eating, the two of them walked along the lake. Gu Lingqing held her hand. No one spoke. Baiya was lost in her own thoughts. After eating, the two of them walked along the lake. Gu Lingqing held her hand. No one spoke. Baiya was lost in her own thoughts. I won't be back for dinner tomorrow. I need to go back. Gu Lingqing broke the silence. Baiya vaguely remembered that Lung Ning mentioned that Gu Lingqing's father was not in good health yesterday. Do you want to go with me? Gu Lingqing asked gently. Baiya shook her head. Not for now. With the current situation, it's better to avoid trouble. I'll be back before midnight. In the afternoon, Zhang Xingyu will bring you to the new place. Call me if you need anything. Gu Lingqing reminded her. Baiya nodded. Gu Lingqing's phone rang. He saw that it was Lung Ning and picked up the call. Chief, bad news. There's an order from above. They want to interrogate Xia He immediately. I haven't officially reported it yet, Lung Ning said anxiously. Above? Which above? It was sent by the military committee. Xia He will definitely say that the mission is fake in court. If she says it first and I say it later, I will become an accomplice and a shield. If I say it first, I will be able to save her life. What should I do? Tell Xia He not to say it for now, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. I'm more worried that Xia He will be executed before she goes to court. Or if she doesn't say it after she goes to court, she won't have a chance to say it. We have to ensure her safety. Stall for an hour. I'll look for her. Gu Lingqing hung up and immediately made a call. Shiniyan, I have something to discuss with you. It's very urgent. It's about Xia He. I know that. It's me, the disciplinary committee, and the related people from other departments who received an anonymous letter saying that Lung Ning is covering up and keeping it a secret. They collectively requested for an immediate interrogation. That's why I sent the notice. I'm afraid that the disciplinary committee will look for Lung Ning later, Shiniyan replied. There's another secret in this matter. The original mission was fake. Xia He can't be a spy. I participated in that mission, so I'm investigating why it's fake and who's the mastermind behind it. Even if it's fake, so many people died. It's the highest number of deaths so far in this kind of secret operation. We can't rule out the possibility that Xia He is the murderer. At that time, only Yu Xiahe and Zhou Hailan survived. Other than her, could it be the disfigured Zhou Hailan? Or you? Gu Lingqing, those who want to achieve great things will always have to sacrifice. But this is equivalent to burying the original truth. I've already looked for the vice president of S country. He admitted that the person I saved back then was not him. Then who do you think is the mastermind? Your direct leader, General Kai Qingyan, is already dead. Are you going to push all the blame to Kai Qingyan? Even if you push the blame to Kai Qingyan, Xia He can't get rid of the suspicion. You'll even get into trouble. Besides, there's no reasonable explanation for the purpose of General Kai Qingyan doing this. Gu Lingqing, sometimes, the result is more important than the truth. Only by sacrificing yourself can you achieve the greater good, Shiniyan advised. So according to you, it doesn't matter if the mission is fake or if Xia He is the murderer. She's definitely going to become a spy, right? Gu Lingqing said coldly. This is for the sake of the overall situation. And it can also prevent the relationship between our country and S country from being affected. Xia He sacrificed for the country and died a worthy death. *CK your sacrifice for the country. If the background of a country is dirty, this country will not be far from destruction. Shiniyan, you and I are different. You can betray the person you love most for your responsibility, but I can't. Gu Lingqing was so angry that he swore and hung up the phone. Baiya heard it all, and her eyes darkened. Xiaoya, I'm going out, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya understood Gu Lingqing. He was responsible for a stranger, let alone a brother who had gone through fire and water with him. Go and do what you think is right. I fully support you. Chapter 433. Okay, go ahead, Lung Ning said in a low voice and walked into his office. You want Gu Lingqing to be the president, right? Baya asked. Of course, I believe that the chief can do better than Shen Yan. This has always been my wish. Only by following the chief can I be motivated and serve the country better, Lung Ning said passionately. I'll send you a recording later. This recording can prove that the mission is fake and the culprit is Zhou Hailan. Gu Lingqing won't be involved. Also, I kidnapped Xiao Xian to force Zhou Hailan to reveal the culprit. I promise I won't hurt Xiao Xian. However, Zhou Hailan didn't care about Xiao Xian's safety and told Gu Lingqing about it. According to my understanding of Gu Lingqing, he wouldn't want to use this method to get information about the culprit. Now once Zhou Hailan's recording is exposed, Zhou Hailan will be in danger. He might be killed by the culprit, but it's also a chance to find out who the culprit is. So you have to plan it carefully. Lastly, if Xiao Xian goes back to Zhou Hailan now, it'll be dangerous. After everything is settled, I'll let Xiao Xian go back to Gu Lingqing safely. So you can go easy on the mission to find Xiao Xian, Baya said. Lung Ning paused. You're helping us? Gu Lingqing is my husband. What do you think? Or do you think I'm harming you? Baya asked coldly. I understand. I know what to do. Don't worry, please give me the recording, Lung Ning said. Baya hung up and turned on the recording. Zhou Hailan's voice came from inside. That's because they deserve to die. Wu Nian, don't spout nonsense if you don't know anything. If they don't die, more people will die. What do you mean by more people will die? Don't you think your words are hilarious? Many illegal organizations also see themselves as saviors and kill even more people. Therefore, you are destined to grow old alone and live a life worse than death. Believe it or not, I will kill you. Of course I do. You've already killed so many people anyway, I won't make a difference. However, if I die, you Gu Ruoxin, don't even think about living. Gu Lingqing's shadow has been protecting me. You should know that. Wu Nian, what exactly do you want? Tell me the truth about that mission. He won't let me go. That was all she had cut out and sent it to the cold market. Lying on the bed, she placed her hands naturally on her abdomen. Soon, everyone would know that she was the one who got the recording. The people behind the scenes would probably not let her go either. But it didn't matter. She just hoped that the people behind the scenes would be able to find traces of them, so that all her hard work would not be in vain. Lying on the bed, she tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Gu Lingqing had not returned yet. She got up and turned on the television. She watched some soap operas, but she could not get into it. The more she watched, the more uneasy she felt. Looking at the time, it was already 1 a.m. Zhang Xingyu called and she picked it up immediately. Miss Wu, something has happened, Zhang Xingyu said anxiously. Hearing that something had happened, Baya's heart skipped a beat. She stood up from the bed. What's wrong? In court, the recording of you was released and it caused a huge uproar. Now they are divided into 2 groups. One group believes that the mission is fake and the other group thinks that it's fabricated. Fabricated? The recording can be verified. I didn't put it together. Baya frowned. The verification has been done, but many people think that there are loopholes in the language. They are debating. The president is helping us, so we should be able to win, but Chief Lung and President Gu are both trapped now. Chief Lung is worried that those people will kill them, so he can't mobilize his men. Chief Gu can't mobilize the shadows, Zhang Xingyu explained. Can't you mobilize them? I only know the people in my team. Moreover, everyone in my team has a mission. I'm afraid I can't, Zhang Xingyu said apologetically. We don't have time to think about it now. If we don't know who killed Zhou Hailan, or if Zhou Hailan is killed, it will be even more difficult to find the people behind the scenes. Mobilize the people who are protecting me to protect Zhou Hailan, Baya said anxiously. If something happens to you, it will be harder for me to explain to President Gu. Zhang Xingyu didn't dare to. Who is more important in your heart, me or President Gu? Moreover, I have no grudges with them. How could something happen to me? Move Zhou Hailan to a safe place first, Baya ordered. Okay. Send me Zhou Hailan's address. Baya hung up the phone. After receiving the address from Zhang Xingyu, She sent it to the mercenaries and Joe Halen's photo. She called them and ordered, "Go to this address and protect this woman. Move her to a safe place. It's best if you can catch the person who wants to kill her." "How do we calculate the fees? This isn't a mission anymore, right?" the mercenaries asked. "You are top-notch mercenaries, and will have many collaborations in the future. How about 1 million per mission?" Baya asked. "There are 5 of us. Isn't 200,000 per mission a little too low? 2 million per mission. Just now, I mentioned moving Zhou Hailan safely and catching the person who wants to kill her. These 2 missions cost 4 million. We can earn 4 million in 1 or 2 hours. It's not a low price. Moreover, there will be more collaborations in the future, right?" Baya negotiated. She didn't have that much money on hand. She couldn't ask Alan for more money. "Okay, remember to pay tomorrow." The mercenaries hung up the phone and set off. Baya was worried. She drove to Zhou Halen's house and stopped in front of her house. Zhou Halen's house was in the downtown area. The person behind the scenes wouldn't bring a bunch of people with guns to her house. After waiting for about half an hour, she heard banging sounds. She didn't have time to think and ran to Zhou Halen's house. The door was opened and Zhou Hailan rushed out. When he saw Baya, his sharp eyes swept to the right. Baya saw a masked man on the right. He was holding a gun and aiming at Zhou Hailan. If Zhou Hailan died, the clues would be broken. She couldn't let Zhou Hailan die. She stood in front of Zhou Hailan. The person who fired the gun paused. Zhou Hailan also paused for a while and returned to her room. Baya looked at the person who fired the gun in surprise. Why didn't he shoot? Didn't he want to hurt the innocent? No, she wasn't innocent at all. She was the one who exposed the incident. The person behind the scenes should hate her to the core. The person with the gun dashed into the corridor. Baya didn't have time to think. Zhou Halen's comfort was more important. Chapter 434. Baya looked at the sharp blade coming towards her. She was unusually calm. Since she was here, she didn't want to live. She didn't care who the knife was. Zhou Halen's knife was 1 centimeter away from Baya. Zhang Xingyu kicked it away. Zhou Hailan fell to the ground. Zhang Xingyu pointed at Zhou Hailan angrily and scolded. "You don't know what's good for you. We came to save you, but you're biting the hand that feeds you. A woman like you doesn't get a good ending. I don't even want to save you anymore." "Zhang Xingyu, don't be impulsive. Save her," Baya said. She picked up the bonsai on the stand and threw it at the man in black. Zhang Xingyu helped the mercenaries. Zhou Hailan got up and rushed out of the room. Baya followed behind Zhou Hailan and ran out of the room. Another 10 people rushed out of the elevator, all with knives in their hands, looking menacing. "Come in." Baya pulled Zhou Hailan back into the room. She closed the door and pushed the sofa against it. The fight in the room was intense. Baya brought 5 mercenaries with her, while Zhang Xingyu brought 4 people from the shadows. There were 12 of them, while the other party had 15 people. They were very skilled. Baya's people were outnumbered. It was very difficult for them to fight. There were another 10 people outside, banging on the door. If they didn't deal with the people in the room quickly, they would definitely be wiped out when the people outside rushed in. "Shoot," Baya ordered. The mercenaries heard the order and immediately pulled out their guns from their waists. They didn't show any mercy. Originally, those people were all sneaky, so they didn't open fire to avoid making any noise. Once they opened fire, they would all fall to the ground. The mercenaries in the room killed all the people outside. They found a place to hide and stared at the door. The mercenaries in the house killed all the people on the other side, found a place to hide, and stared at the door. Baya glanced at the corpses in the room. When he thought of the 10 more corpses, he suddenly felt irritated. She grabbed Zhou Halen's collar, her eyes red, and said hatefully, "Zhou Hailan, you are being chased by them, and you still want to protect the person behind the scenes? Who is the mastermind behind this? If I tell you, you won't protect me anymore." Zhou Hailan refused to say. "You're the witness? Why wouldn't he protect you? Who is he?" Baya asked. "I can't tell you now. I'll tell you after I'm safely out of here." Zhou Hailan was determined not to say anything. His eyes were light and not sincere at all. Baya was furious. She stood up and snatched the gun from the mercenary's hands. She hid behind the wall and pointed at Joe Hylon, who was in front of the sofa. She said sternly, "Are you going to tell me or not? If you do, I'll let you live. If you don't, I'll kill you now." Joe Hylon shook her head and smiled confidently. "You won't. Killing me won't do you any good. If you wanted to kill me, you wouldn't have risked your life to save me. So Joe Hylon, you've never loved anyone before. You don't know how anxious it is when you see your lover in danger. When people lose their rationality, they can do anything. If you don't believe me, I'll kill you." Baya shouted and fired. The bullet flew past Joe Hylon and landed on the side of her head. Joe Hylon was shocked. He didn't expect her to really shoot. "What are you doing?" Baya clenched her teeth and continued firing. 3 shots were fired. All 3 shots hit Joe Hylon's legs. She said sharply, "Are you going to tell me or not?" Joe Hylon covered her bleeding legs. She looked at Baya with bloodshot eyes and hatred. "Stop dreaming. I won't tell you. They want to kill you. Joe Hylon, do you even have a brain?" Baya was extremely agitated. "Brain? How much do you know? How much do you know about me? You said that I don't know how to love, but you don't know how much I've sacrificed for the man I love," Joe Hylon said angrily. "Is this how you sacrifice yourself for Gu Lingqing? You're not sacrificing yourself. You're harming him." "Who said that I like Gu Lingqing?" Joe Hylon said coldly. Baya paused. She was shocked. "You don't like Gu Lingqing?" "Of course not. I can stay by another man's side for the man I love, and give birth to another man's child. I can also ruin my appearance for him. Even if I die, I won't tell anyone who he is," Joe Hylon said firmly. "But he wants to kill you now," Baya said vehemently. Joe Hylon didn't care. There was nothing more sorrowful than a dead heart. "That's because he's also following someone else's orders. Without him, I would have died when I was 12 years old. My life now is considered to be returned to him." Baya looked at the determination in her eyes. She lowered her arms dispiritedly. She knew that even if she saved Joe Hylon today, she wouldn't tell anyone about the mastermind. "Gu Lingqing will die because of you. He has never harmed you. He's even the father of your child," Baya murmured. A strange sense of guilt flowed through Joe Hylon's face. "He's very good. He treats me well. He's always taken good care of me. But he's not the man I love. Otherwise, according to his personality, if I slept with him when we were dating, you wouldn't be involved in the future. But I'm not willing. I've been waiting for him. I've watched him marry a wife. I've watched him play with women. I've watched him control everything." A thought flashed through Baya's mind. "The man you like is Su Jiran?" She guessed. She looked at Joe Hylon's eyes. Joe Hylon paused. She came back to her senses. "I don't know what you're talking about. If you want to kill me, just kill me. I know you won't protect me anymore. I'm going to die anyway. I won't feel wronged if I die in your hands." Joe Hylon was avoiding this topic. The person she loved was Su Jiran. Baya was shocked. She couldn't imagine that the person Joe Hylon liked was Su Jiran. The number of women he had played with was probably several truckloads. She slowly squatted down in front of Joe Hylon. She looked at Joe Hylon's face, which looked like she was facing death with equanimity. She calmed down. She didn't have the impulse earlier. Her rationality slowly returned to her mind. "I won't kill you. I'm afraid that killing you will dirty my hands. But before you die, I want to tell you a secret." "What is it?" Joe Hylon's eyes locked on Baya. The current Baya was a mystery to her. She didn't know anything about this woman who had appeared out of nowhere. Baya pinched Joe Hylon's face. She lowered her head and whispered in her ear, "Su Jiran, the woman he loves is me." Joe Hylon sneered. She looked at Baya mockingly. "You're dreaming. I know him too well. He's only loved one woman in his life. That was his ex-wife. Other than his ex-wife, I'm afraid he'll never love anyone else." Chapter 435. I don't know where your confidence comes from. That's because they don't want to kill the wrong person. Maybe we can renegotiate. Tell me who the person behind the scenes is. I'll make Sujiran fall in love with you. Even if he doesn't love you, I'll let you have his child and let him stay by your side forever. Otherwise, he'll kill you, and I'll take away everything you want and care about, Baya said coldly. She said coldly. The people outside had already broken the lock and were carrying the door. On the other side, and Ying's people were resisting, pushing the sofa, not letting them open the door, trying to give Baya time to negotiate. I don't believe you. What makes you think you can do it? Zhou Hailan didn't believe it at all. Baya stood up and looked down at her. Because I'm Baya. Impossible. Baya died a long time ago. Why do you think Gu Lingqing married me? You've seen his trust in me. Of course, believe it or not, it's up to you. Baya raised her hand and ordered coldly, let them in. Don't shoot. Their target is Zhou Hailan. If Zhou Hailan is dead, he'll leave. Zhou Hailan looked at Baya. Baya turned and walked towards the room inside. Stop! Zhou Hailan shouted. Baya stopped. Are you really Baya? Zhou Hailan continued to ask. Baya looked at her. 2 years ago, you entrusted me to take care of your son. You deliberately let your son break his own head, so that Gu Lingqing would misunderstand me. I'm actually very curious. How did you convince such a young child to do that? That child is really stupid. Only she, Baya, and Gu Lingqing knew about this. Xiao Xian knew. Gu Lingqing wouldn't say it, and Xiao Xian wouldn't say it either. She was really Baya. She believed it. The line of defense in his heart was broken. Su Jiran is an orphan. It's very pitiful. His father was wrongly accused of being a spy. Su Jiran and I have been secretly training on an isolated island since we were young. He is very capable, and his methods are extremely cruel. However, he is very good to us who grew up together. By the time he was 12, he was already our leader, and my direct supervisor had always been him. I only know that the person above him is Kai Qingyun. Now that Kai Qingyun is dead, and Su Jiran has taken over the organization, I don't know who the person above him is. However, I know that the objective of that mission was a meticulously arranged massacre, Zhou Hailan said. Slaughter? Why? Baya asked. Little Tiger discovered the organization's name list by chance. He showed the name list to Dahu, and Dahu told his comrades about it. The two of them looked for their squad leader, and the squad leader looked for the platoon leader, and the platoon leader looked for Chief Kai. That's how we got this specially arranged mission, Zhou Hailan recalled. Then what's the matter with Gu Lingqing? What's the matter with Xia He? And what's the matter with the other people who died? Baya continued to ask. Gu Lingqing is Gu Tianhong's son. When he goes out to carry out the mission, his credibility is strong, and no one will doubt the authenticity of the mission. The people sent out can't all be people who know the secret, or else Little Tiger and the others will be suspicious. Therefore, some innocent and messy people were arranged to go in. This mission was a complete failure. If only Gu Lingqing and I survived, I would be easily suspected. Therefore Xia He, who knows nothing, survived unscathed. She will become the scapegoat, Zhou Hailan explained. Was your face also arranged in advance? Baya stared at her face with skin grafts. That was an accident. During the mission, Little Tiger found out something was wrong. She suspected that I was a spy, so she set the fire. Baya understood. Su Jiran's mother is the former president's woman. Su Jiran should be working for the president, right? The name of the organization is Formless? Formless is Shuniyan's, so I am very sure that Su Jiran is not really working for the president. However, his identity is a little special. I have been by his side for so many years, but I still can't figure it out. Perhaps he has never opened his heart to me, and he doesn't trust me. That's why he is following orders from above. Come and kill me, Zhou Hailan said gloomily. With a bang, the door was set on fire. Miss Wu, hurry up and leave, Zhang Xingyu reminded. Baya glanced at Zhou Hailan. She could die for Su Jiran, but it was impossible for her to testify against Su Jiran. It was already not easy for her to say what she knew. In fact, she was useless to them. But she sympathized with her. She remembered a song. The lyrics went like this. Women tend to be deeply in love. They are always trapped by love. In the end they fall deeper and deeper. But for a woman, love is her soul. She can dedicate her whole life to the person she loves. Take her away. I will definitely protect her safety. I promised her. Baya said in a low voice. Zhang Xingyu carried Zhou Hailan and they retreated into the room. Baya listened to the rain like gunshots outside. Both sides were firing at each other, and neither side was letting the other go. But she knew that they would run out of bullets soon. If there was no backup, they would definitely lose. She walked to the window and made a phone call. Su Jiran picked up the call. What's up? Two things. Firstly, I kidnapped Xiao Xian to threaten Zhou Hailan. She didn't say anything. In her heart, you are more important than her son. To be exact, you are more important than herself. Secondly, she has already said the reason for the mission. She only knows that you are the leader of the organization. She won't give you up. She doesn't know the person behind you. Let her live. Whether she lives or dies is not something I can decide. Since she said the wrong thing, she should take responsibility for her words. It's not that I don't want to let her live. It's the people above me who want her dead. Su Jiran rejected. Let her go. I will tell you. Where is Baya? Baya said in a low voice. Su Jiran was silent. Where is she? Let her go. Baya looked at the night outside quietly. Her eyes shone with a strange light. Baya once told me about the two of you. She said that although the two of you weren't happy before your marriage, she still looked forward to the wedding night. Not only did she place an apple on the bedside table, she also placed a pair of boys' pants under the bedsheets. She felt that they would give birth to a boy and a girl. Unfortunately, you didn't go to the wedding night. She was very sad and angry. She smashed the glass. The shards, the apple and the boys' pants were all thrown into the bin. You found out and pressed her head into the bin. You said in disdain, "Do you think I will still sleep with a broken shoe like you? Giving birth to a boy and a girl is a fool's dream. I would rather have a girl than have a child with you. Because you used too much force, the porcelain shards cut her face. You just left in disdain." Chapter 436. Su Jiran was silent for 3 seconds. Those memories were real to him. Since she could tell him the details, he believed that she really knew where Baya was. In the past, he didn't think that he was going overboard, and Baya wouldn't complain in front of him. She was always cold and shouldered everything alone. At that time, he seemed to have fallen into a demon's trap. The more arrogant she was, the more indifferent she acted, the more he wanted her to suffer. Now listening to Wu Nian's calm narration, he also felt that he was going overboard. No wonder Baya would rather die than be with him. I will let her go. I hope you don't go back on your words. Otherwise, she won't be the only one who will die. You will die too. Su Jiran warned and hung up the phone. Not long after, the gunshots outside stopped, and everything became quiet. Su Jiran's men retreated from the room and took away the dead person. Baya looked at Zhou Hailan. You're safe now. Since Su Jiran promised to let you go, he should be able to convince the people above him. He still has the ability to do so. Xiao Xian will be released later. You don't have to worry. Zhou Hailan was a little lonely. She murmured. You said that I love him, that I can sacrifice myself for him, but he still wants to kill me. You only said that you will tell him where Baya is, and he stopped killing me. Baya looked at the sadness on her face, and her eyes darkened. That was how love between 3 people was. When one of them was good to the other would be sad and worried. If one was trapped in the same mood for a long time and couldn't get out, it would lead to depression. Her mother was like that. Just let it go. You know that Su Jiran has never loved you. However, it's his business whether he loves you or not. It's your business to love him. Often, you feel sad because you think that others should love you if you love him. This kind of mentality in itself is a kind of sickness. No one will do anything for you. It's his right not to do anything for you. The most important thing is that you know what you're doing. Baya said calmly. Have you never hoped for Gu Lingqing's love? Or you could say that you were lucky that those you liked you, and those you didn't like also liked you. A person's life. Zhou Hailan had lost too much blood, and his face was getting paler and paler. Everyone did things differently. Back then, when Gu Lingqing only had Zhou Hailan in his heart, she didn't say anything. She didn't even tell Gu Lingqing that they were in a relationship. She just took it all on her own, went abroad, and stopped contacting him. Perhaps she would have extravagant wishes and desires, but she would never force it, because it would be useless even if she forced it. Zhang Xingyu, send her to the hospital. She's bleeding too much, said Bai Ye. Her phone rang and she looked at it. It was Su Jiran. Will you tell Su Jiran that you're Bai Ye? Zhou Hailan asked worriedly. I won't. Don't forget what you promised me. I don't expect him to love me. He won't love me at all. I just want his child. And someone to accompany me from now on. Zhou Hailan said gloomily. What about Xiao Xian? How are you going to treat Xiao Xian now that you have Su Jiran's child? Bai Ye was suspicious. That's the child I don't want. They forced me to have it. Bai Ye suddenly thought of a question. Gu Lingqing's sperm was left when he raped me. From the beginning, was it all arranged by Su Jiran? I'm not sure about this. He didn't want to marry you at first. He only wanted you to suffer. Maybe it was arranged by General Kai. In fact, he was very afraid of Su Jiran, and he was also worried that Su Jiran would betray him. After all, his mother had a good relationship with the former president. He purposely asked Gu Lingqing to control him. Zhou Hailan guessed. Bai Ye had a creepy feeling, and her heart was cold. She wasn't afraid of ghosts or demons, but she was afraid of people, because people's minds were sometimes scarier than demons. Then what about my child? Who kidnapped him? Bai Ye asked. Even Su Jiran didn't know where your child went. It shouldn't be him, and it can't be General Kai. He must want you to keep the child by your side, and let Gu Lingqing and Su Jiran fight against each other. Moreover, he wouldn't send the child back when Gu Lingqing was depressed. I guess it should be Gu Lingqing. The people over there. They didn't want to cause unnecessary trouble for Gu Lingqing. Then, did you know that Gu Lingqing arranged for me to be strong in the beginning? Bai Ye looked at Zhou Hailan. Zhou Hailan shook her head. They only told me to give birth to Gu Lingqing's child, so that they could control Gu Lingqing in the future. However, I didn't want to have sex with him, so they arranged it later. Bai Ye's phone stopped ringing, and then it rang again. She answered the phone. I've already let her go. She should have told me, right? Su Jiran asked straightforwardly. She told me that she wanted to go to the South Pole, but I don't know where exactly, Bai Ye said calmly. When a person was used to telling lies, they would no longer feel guilty and blame themselves when they said it. They would also not feel that their conscience was being condemned, because they no longer had a conscience. Wu Nian, you tricked me. Su Jiran was furious. If you know her well enough, you should know that she really wants to go to the South Pole, Bai Ye said calmly. If you lie to me, I can take your lives at any time. Su Jiran hung up the phone. After listening to the phone call, Zhou Hailan left with Zhang Xingyu. When she went out, the mercenaries and the shadows were waiting for her. She said to the mercenaries, although you only completed one mission this time, it was very dangerous. I will transfer 3 million to your account, and we will work together again in the future. Let the child go now. Leave while Gu Lingqing is still trapped. She turned to look at the shadows. One of you go with them to bring the child back. The rest of you do as you please. The shadows looked at each other and watched as Bai Ye left. Bai Ye got into the car and took out a recording pen from her bag. She recorded the gunfight and all the conversations just now. She listened to it over and over again. She didn't know if it was because she didn't sleep for the whole night, or because she had a cold, but her mind was dizzy. She couldn't think of anything. Everything seemed to be blank. She closed her eyes, leaned on the chair, and soon fell asleep. In the morning in City A, there were people who started to get busy at 6:30 a.m. They were making breakfast, those who got off the night shift, those who went to school early, those who went to work far away, and those who went out of the internet cafe. Her nose was filled with the fragrance of fried dough sticks, pancakes, and fruits. When she opened her eyes, she had a splitting headache, and her throat was particularly dry and painful. She opened the car door and got out. A gust of wind blew over, and it was a little cold. She gathered her clothes, and when she went out for breakfast, she saw many policemen coming, followed by armed policemen. She ordered a bowl of tofu soup and a basket of soup dumplings. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing. She took a deep breath and answered. "Where are you?" Gu Lingqing asked coldly. Baya had a bad feeling. "We're having breakfast outside." Chapter 437. I'll be back after breakfast. I'll be back in about 2 hours. Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone without saying a word. She guessed that Ying's people had reported to Gu Lingqing that she had kidnapped Xiao Xian and lied to him. It was reasonable for him to be angry. She lowered her head to eat the soup dumplings, but found that she had no appetite at all. The restaurant was very small. 2 people sat across from her. "Do you know what happened?" A thin middle-aged man asked an old man with gray hair next to him. "I don't know. At first, I thought that someone was setting off firecrackers. I even scolded them. Isn't it crazy to set off firecrackers in the middle of the night? Then I found that the situation was not right. Look, the police are here today. Even the armed police are here. I heard that the woman is someone's lover, and then she was found out by the wife. Now she is being killed," the thin middle-aged man said. "I see. The woman is weak and doesn't work. She has a family doctor and a nanny. Her child goes to the best school. I heard that she is the boss of Gu's." A middle-aged woman next to him interrupted. "No way. The boss of Gu's doesn't have a wife." "But my son works in Gu's. My son said that. He also said that the woman's son should also be the boss of Gu's. They look very similar," the middle-aged woman said. "That's right. A woman doesn't work. She has no grudges with anyone. If she wanted to be killed, she could have been killed with a bullet. Why would there be a gunfight? I guess it's Boss Gu's enemy who came to seek revenge," the old man with gray hair said. Baya heard that the rumors on the street were getting more and more ridiculous. She was not in the mood to eat anymore. Rumors did not develop according to logic. Instead, they developed in the direction that people wanted or were interested in. The more they spread, the more ridiculous they became. She stood up. "Let me tell you, it's not like that." A short man came over and looked around. He said sneakily, "I live on the first floor. I came out at night and heard a man on the phone." Baya took a few pieces of paper and sat down again, pretending to eat breakfast in silence. "What call?" the skinny man urged. "In the beginning, that man said that she would live or die. It's not something I can decide. Since she said the wrong thing, she should be responsible for what she said. It's not that I don't want to let her go. It's the people above me who want her to die. It seemed that the woman had said something wrong, so she had to be punished. Chase them down." Baya paused. These words were indeed said by Su Jiran to her. "What happened next?" the person next to him urged. "What did you say afterwards?" "Where is she?" "I said I would let her go. I hope the person who called her doesn't go back on his words. Otherwise, not only will she die, but the person who called her will also die," the short man continued. "There's too much information in these words. I can't tell anything," the skinny man said. After the man hung up, he immediately called out and told them to stop shooting. He would tell old Sheng about it. "So the woman we want to kill is old Sheng," said the short man. The name Sheng Dongqing flashed through Baya's mind. She remembered that when she had dinner with Leng Ning before, Leng Ning had said that the people who could become the president were Shen Yiyan, Su Zheng, Lin Shutong, Zhou Qiweni, and Sheng Dongqing. Kai Qingyan was already a general. The people who could make Kai Qingyan do things must be of a higher rank, including Su Jiran. He even looked down on Lingqing. The person who could order him was no small matter. The residents were still talking after dinner. She got up and immediately got into the car. Then she made a call. "Leng Ning, I think I know who the person behind this is. But I'm not 100% sure yet." "Who is it?" Leng Ning asked. "Sheng Dongqing." Someone heard Su Jiran mention old Sheng's name on the phone. "I want to know Sheng Dongqing's information," said Baya. "That's possible. Sheng Dongqing's grandfather, Sheng Li, used to be in the arms business abroad. He was good friends with Shen Yian's grandfather. Later, When Shen Yan's grandfather became the president, he asked him to return to China to develop his career. Sheng Dongqing invested in several projects in a country. However, Shen Yan's grandfather only became the president for 4 years. Then, Zhuo Qiuan's father became the president. Sheng Li also passed away that year. Sheng Dongqing's father had a good career. After all, there was a family developing. But at that time, the Gu family rose rapidly. Later, when Shen Yan's father became the president, he promoted Sheng Dongqing's father. Sheng Dongqing also entered politics. The Sheng family's business did well in a country. The Gu family's development went abroad. Coincidentally, there were many people who coveted the position of the president. But every 4 years, Shen Yan's father would be elected. Just 3 years ago, Sheng Dongqing's father died of a sudden illness. Sheng Dongqing took over his father's position and was now the cabinet finance minister. He was also a popular candidate for the president 2 years ago. Leng Ning explained. This might also explain why Su Jiaran worked for the former president. When Shen Yan's father was alive, Sheng Dongqing's father and Shen Yan's father were in a cooperative relationship. It was normal for Su Jiaran to work for the president, but they were still doing their own things. When Sheng Dongqing's father died, this relationship was not so solid. This relationship is not so solid, Baya analyzed. That's great. Then we don't have to worry about being stabbed in the back. No wonder the chief likes you. Leng Ning thanked him sincerely. Now we can only guess that Sheng Dongqing is the boss behind Su Jiaran. They have an organization working for them secretly to eliminate dissidents. The mission back then was to let Xiao Hu know the name list. Then all the people who knew the name list died. It still can't prove that they had anything to do with Xiao Yan's murder. Close. Shen Yan, Su Zhenglin Shutong, and Zhuo Qiuani are also possible murderers. But Sheng Dongqing is more likely, Baya reminded. I'll go and protect the people who heard the call, Leng Ning said vigilantly. It's useless. He didn't record it, so there's no evidence. Now only Su Jiaran's testimony is useful. We still need to provide evidence. Now I know why Shen Yan doesn't want to make it big. Shen Yan has just been the president for 2 years. His power hasn't stabilized yet. Once Sheng Dongqing falls, he will lose his wings. He and Sheng Dongqing are both enemies and friends. But, according to Shen Yan's shrewdness, before he stabilizes his position, he won't touch Sheng Dongqing, Baya said in a deep voice. That person can't be touched, and Su Jiaran won't help us. Now that we know who the mastermind is, we can't do anything. Leng Ning was disappointed. What will you do when a scepter is full of poisonous thorns? Baya asked. What do you mean? Baya's eyes were sharp, cold, and cruel. He said, pull them out one by one. It will be a safe scepter. Then it will be handed to Gu Lingqing. Chapter 438. When Baya returned to the villa, Gu Lingqing stood at the door and watched her get out of the car. She looked terrible and her lips were pursed tightly. Her face was gloomy, but there was no warmth in her. Baya knew that he was very angry now. She smiled and said gently, You've been waiting for me here. Why don't you sleep for a while? Have you had breakfast? I'll make it for you now. You kidnapped Xiao Xian, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Baya knew that An Ying's men would tell her. She didn't want others to know, but she and Leng Shuang were both under control. If she didn't let her mercenaries do it, Zhou Hailan would die, and she wouldn't know the truth. We know. The mastermind might be Sheng Dongqing. He has an organization and Su Jiaran is his subordinate. Xiao Hu and the others died because they accidentally found out the name list of the organization. That's why they were killed. Baya explained. Gu Lingqing looked at her coldly. His eyes were extremely sharp. He tightened his jaw and raised his voice. What I'm asking is, did you kidnap Xiao Xian? You don't understand. I know that you definitely didn't want me to kidnap Xiao Xian, so I didn't tell you the truth. Now that Zhou Hailan is safe, I'll get someone to bring Xiao Xian back to her side, Baya said softly with red eyes. Is it useful? Gu Lingqing said coldly. What? I told you to stay out of this. You don't understand. If you expose Zhou Hailan's identity, they won't let her go. Xiao Xian will definitely die if he stays with her. What's the point of knowing that it might be Sheng Dongcheng? Gu Lingqing asked. His chest was heaving up and down violently. At least, we can be more vigilant against him. Moreover, now that we know the truth of that mission, the higher-ups will investigate further, and we can also protect Xiaohe. The mist in Bai Ye's eyes deepened. So I should thank you, right? Thank you for kidnapping my son, threatening my son's mother, and putting them in danger, Gu Lingqing said furiously. Bai Ye sniffled and tried hard to control her tears. Su Jiran has already agreed to let Zhou Hailan go, so she should be safe. You don't have to worry. If you're still worried, you can bring them back to live together. Su Jiran? Gu Lingqing was even more hateful. She held her face and asked fiercely. What conditions did you negotiate with him? You won't be happy until you make it big, right? Bai Ye stared at the hatred and disgust in his eyes. Actually, she did not care about sacrificing herself, as long as she could protect the people she loved, so she was not afraid in the face of death. But facing his accusation, her heart ached. I only said to tell him the news about Bai Ye, but I deliberately pointed in the direction of the South Pole, so he won't find out that I'm lying in a short time. Gu Lingqing let go of her face. What I feel sorry for is the former Bai Ye. I can't see her shadow in you anymore. You learn to lie without batting an eyelid, learn to commit crimes, learn to kill, learn to have no morals, etiquette, and shame, and Bai Ye doesn't know any of these. Bai Ye still could not hold back her tears. She wanted to cry because she felt wronged. But even if she felt wronged, she could not refute a word. She had read a real report from abroad before, saying that a dog and a Xiaobao's baby were very close, and the owner often let Xiaobao's baby and the dog stay together. One day, the owner came home and saw that the house was full of blood, and the dog ran out of the room covered in blood. The owner thought that the dog had hurt his son, so he took out his gun and killed the dog. When he returned to the room, he saw that the baby was safe and sound, and the python beside him was bitten to death. Only then did he know that the dog had fought with the python to protect the baby. Now, she felt that the dog had been sentenced to death because of the killing. So, Bai Ye asked, let's separate for a period of time to calm down. I want to think about it. The current you only makes me feel afraid, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Was she afraid? Bai Ye lowered her eyes. She had cried too much, and her vision was not clear. She did not say anything, nodded and turned around. Gu Lingqing clenched his fists, and the veins on the back of his hands were bulging. Looking at her thin and soft back, pain and pity flowed through his eyes, and his temples were throbbing. He turned around decisively, entered the room, and closed the door. Bai Ye stopped, turned around, and looked at the closed door. She cried out loud, and without support, she squatted on the ground, and her tears fell on the ground. I don't understand, President Gu. Why did you treat Miss Wu like this? Even if Miss Wu was wrong, she did it for you, President Gu. She almost lost her life to protect Zhou Hailan, and Zhou Hailan wanted to kill her. Although she kidnapped the young master, he was unharmed, and it was just a temporary measure. She really did her best for you, Zhang Xingyu said on behalf of Bai Ye. Does it have anything to do with you? Gu Lingqing said coldly, and smashed the ashtray in his hand onto the ground. Zhang Xingyu's body trembled, and he puffed out his chest. Even if I'm scolded by you, I still have to say it. To be honest, even if we knew it was related to Zhou Hailan, we wouldn't dare to kidnap the young master. Only Miss Wu dared to do it. She did it entirely because of you. If it wasn't for Miss Wu, Xiaohe would have been identified as a spy, and those brothers who died on missions were all wronged. You are too biased towards Zhou Hailan, and you are too unfair to Miss Wu. You only thought that Miss Zhou might die, but you didn't think that Xiaohe would die. In fact, Miss Wu almost died too. I looked down on Miss Wu, and she took the bullet for Zhou Hailan. Chief, you shouldn't have treated Miss Wu like this. What else can I do if I don't treat her like this? She only wants to die now, and she won't listen to me no matter what I say. Gu Lingqing said angrily. He frowned, and a tear flowed down from his left eye. Zhang Xingyu paused, and he seemed to have understood something, but at the same time he didn't seem to understand anything. Why does Miss Wu want to die? That shouldn't be the case. I think she loves you very much. Gu Lingqing turned his face away, and now he was regretting the answer he had given her. She had said that if she died, she would let him take care of their child and fulfill her dream. He had agreed. He had said that if he died, he would let her take care of their child and do the things that he couldn't do. She hadn't agreed. So now, she was risking her life, and she was crazy and determined. She didn't care about her own life anymore. She didn't know that if she died he wouldn't want to live. Get out, Gu Lingqing ordered. He really needed time to calm down. Then do we still need to protect Miss Wu? Zhang Xingyu asked. Chapter 439. Baya cried for a long time, until she had no strength left. She stared at the ground in a daze for a while before turning to look at the villa. Gu Lingqing did not open the door at all. Was it useful for her to squat here? It was useless. She stood up. Her vision darkened as her blood sugar level was too low. She swayed a few times before squatting down and shaking her head. She tried her best to stay rational and not faint here. She took out a piece of chocolate from her bag and ate it, closing her eyes to cushion the impact. Her head was too dizzy. She could feel that her surroundings were spinning, and she was about to faint. She forced herself to stand up and make a call. Sheniyan, locate my phone and send someone to pick me up. Why are you looking for me? Sheniyan asked suspiciously. I'll tell you when we meet. Baya hung up the phone and walked forward. She kept walking until she finally walked out of Gu Lingqing's villa. Her vision was getting darker, and she was about to lose her sight. She held onto a tree and remembered that there was a chair nearby. She clenched her fists and walked towards the chair. She could not hold on any longer and fainted. After a long time, she opened her eyes. The sky was gray and it seemed to be 6 p.m. She sat up and looked around. She was in an unfamiliar room. She remembered calling Sheniyan before she fainted. Was it Sheniyan who brought her here? Or was it Gu Lingqing? Thinking of Gu Lingqing, her heart skipped a beat. She got up from the bed and opened the door. She saw Sheniyan sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper. He was wearing a black vest, looking noble and elegant with a noble temperament. His every movement showed the demeanor of royalty. As he flipped through the newspaper, he seemed to have noticed her existence. He looked at her quietly and curled the corner of his lips. His eyes were calm like a bottomless ancient lake. Baya looked at Sheniyan too. She knew that Sheniyan was a ruthless and decisive person. His methods were not inferior to anyone else's, and he had a strong grasp of things. That was why he could stand out from so many candidates. Not many people had this kind of courage. Breakfast will be served in 15 minutes. Sit. Sheniyan glanced at the seat opposite him. Breakfast? So it was already morning. She had been asleep for a long time. She sat down opposite Sheniyan and looked down without saying a word. Sheniyan chuckled and put down the newspaper. The first time I saw you, I thought you were pretty good. A woman who could make the cold and aloof Gu Lingqing fall head over heels for you must have a high EQ. If I had a high EQ, I wouldn't have been chased out and needed your help, Baya said coldly. Sheniyan frowned slightly. That shouldn't be the case. After what you did, Xiaohe is innocent. There's nothing sinister to him. Anyway, Su Jiran should listen to you. Gu Lingqing has no reason to chase you out. Aren't you afraid? Baya said coldly. Sheniyan leaned against the sofa with interest. What should I be afraid of? After Lu Shuang's incident was exposed, someone immediately set up Gu Lingqing. You should be able to guess why. Baya narrowed her eyes and stared at Sheniyan. You suspect that I did it? I still need Gu Lingqing to balance the relationship with the others. There's no need to kill before anything happens, Sheniyan said coldly. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. I didn't suspect you. I just felt that someone coveted your position. And that's why they started killing in advance. Who do you think it is? Don't tell me that you think it's Sheng Dongcheng. Sheniyan said in a low voice. I'm not sure whether it's him or not. But there's one thing. When Xiaohe was arrested after he came back, Su Jiran warned me that he would soon regret following Gu Lingqing. From his words, I think he should know about the plot against Xiaohe. Of course, I don't rule out that Su Jiran is well informed. I think it's more likely that he's the mastermind. Shen Yiyan pursed her lips and didn't say anything. Baya couldn't read the message from his expressionless face. She raised her eyebrows. If Sheng Dongqing told you about it in advance, then I'm a sheep in a tiger's mouth. If Sheng Dongqing didn't tell you about it, then his wild ambition is obvious. Baya, you should understand that there are no eternal friends or enemies in this world. Tell me, why did you come to me this time? You also said that there are no eternal friends or enemies in this world, but there are eternal interests. I help you clear the obstacles, and you ensure the safety of the people I care about. Shen Yiyan looked at Baya with deep eyes and tapped her legs with her fingers. She studied psychology. She knew that this movement meant that he was making a difficult choice. She was analyzing the pros and cons in an orderly manner in her mind. Suddenly, he stopped and sat up straight. He stared at Baya and asked, "What do you want me to do?" "Give me a position that can attract their attention. For example, the cabinet." Baya said lightly. "The cabinet is a place for women. It's indeed suitable for you. But my wife has such a powerful background. She's always living in the cracks. Can you do it?" Shen Yiyan was doubtful. "Letting me in is your business. The rest is my business. You don't want to be controlled by others forever, do you?" Baya said firmly. "I have another condition. Tell me, where is Lu Shuang?" Shen Yiyan asked. "She thinks that I betrayed her. Do you think she'll tell me? Now that she has disappeared completely, it's a good thing for her. She won't be in danger anymore. It's also a good thing for you. You won't have anything to hold against you anymore," Baya said with dim eyes. She might not have the chance to see her old friend again in her lifetime. Shen Yiyan's expression was unclear. She stood up and said, "Have breakfast first. It's not a problem to arrange for you to enter the cabinet. But you're pregnant. Do you want to reconsider?" "What?" Baya paused and looked at Shen Yiyan in surprise. "Don't you know that you're pregnant?" Shen Yiyan asked back. Baya was a little absent-minded. She was actually pregnant. The doctor said that her period of delivery was from the 5th to the 10th. How could it be so soon? Could it be when she was in country X last time? Look at your reaction. You really don't know. I was thinking that if Gu Lingqing knew that you're pregnant, he wouldn't kick you out. It turns out that you don't know. Do you want to discuss with him before making a decision? Shen Yiyan asked. There's no need. I'll make my own decisions. You can arrange it. I have no problem, Baya said firmly. Okay, wait for my notice. It'll take about a week. There's still something that needs your cooperation, Shen Yiyan said. Baya held her stomach, her thoughts drifting. Chapter 440. Moreover, she had taken medicine for a cold and fever a few days ago, so she might not be able to keep this child. Thinking that she could not keep their child again, a kind of sadness flowed through her heart. Perhaps it was God's will. However, that was not right either. She had been lying in the hospital for a week, and the doctor did not say that she was pregnant. When she came out of the hospital, she and Gu Lingqing had only been together for a few days, so it was too early to say that she was pregnant. After she went out later, she had to first go to the hospital to find out what was going on. Baya stayed at Shen Yiyan's place to eat breakfast. From time to time, he would look at her, and an indiscernible expression flowed through his eyes. He seemed to want to say something but was hesitant, as if it was taboo. In the end, he did not say anything and lowered his head to eat. Although Baya did not look at him, she saw all of his actions. He did not speak, and she did not ask. After all, the relationship between her and Shen Yiyan was very subtle. He saved her, and she was a friend of the woman he loved. Together, they hurt the woman they both loved. However, she should cooperate with him for personal reasons. After breakfast, Baya looked at Shen Yiyan and said, If Su Jiran comes to ask about my identity again, I will confess that I am your person. I hope you will not expose me. We haven't even started, and you already want to sow discord between me and Sheng Dongqing. Shen Yiyan leaned lazily on the chair and looked at him with drooping eyes. Don't you want to give Sheng Dongqing a warning? Besides, you can just deny it with Sheng Dongqing. Su Jiran is not stupid. He is the person who is stuck between you and Sheng Dongcheng. He understands some things that should be said and some things that should not be said. Besides, the conflict between him and Gu Lingqing is much more than the conflict between him and you. What you need to consider is not the problem of trust, but the problem of your own interests. Su Jiaran is so smart that he will not do something that harms others without benefiting himself. Bai confirmed. I don't think I should have given you a position in the cabinet. I should have given you a position as a diplomat. Your eloquence, thinking, and keen judgment are all wasted. Bai suddenly thought of the words of the great master Gu Fa. He said that she was an eloquent person, a person who achieved great results by relying on words. However, she also stood on the path of killing. It seemed like he was right. He also said that she was destined to kill, but if she didn't deal with it cleanly, she would be the one to disappear. Therefore, when it came to fortune-telling, the benevolent saw benevolence and the wise saw wisdom. Bai smiled. There's no contradiction between being a diplomat and working in the cabinet. Perhaps giving him the identity of a diplomat to work in the cabinet wouldn't be too abrupt, don't you think? Shen Yin tapped on the table and smiled. Maybe I can arrange it. Call me when you've arranged it. I should go too. Bai nodded and turned around. Shen Yin stood up and furrowed her brows. You really don't know Lu Shuang's current address? Bai stopped walking and looked at the big tree outside. The sunlight shone through the gaps between the leaves, forming mottled spots of light that danced in the wind on the ground. One flower, one world, one tree, one life. Everyone had their own fate. If you're fated to meet her, you'll meet her one day. If you're not fated to meet her, you won't be able to change anything even if you insist. Bai said meaningfully. Shen Yin looked at Bai's back. Based on his current condition, if he found her, he would kill her. Just wait for 2 more years, 2 more years. Bai walked out of Shen Yin's place. His side courtyard was very secluded. It was surrounded by trees, and there were very few people around. The air was filled with the fragrance of flowers and soil. Taking a deep breath would make one feel relaxed and happy. She didn't forget that she had to go to the hospital for a re-examination. However, wouldn't Ying's men follow her? Bai looked around subconsciously and found no one. Before she walked out of the door, a car stopped in front of her. The driver got out, opened the back seat and said respectfully, Sir asked me to send you away. Thank you. Bai got into the car. Please send me to the hospital. She did a checkup. Her HCG was very high, but her progesterone was normal. She was not pregnant. This might be because she had taken a lot of hormone drugs in the past 2 years, causing the data to be disordered. Bai came out of the hospital and took a taxi to the International Hotel in City A. She checked into a room and lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling in a daze. She still had to go to Gu Lingqing's place to move her luggage out. She had to bring Xiaoqing out too. After all, it was her dog. However, after bringing it out, she would be very busy in the future and might not be able to take care of it in the future. This was also a problem. There was a knock on the door. She got up, walked to the door and looked through the peephole. It was Su Jiaran. He would come to find her. She had expected it. She should face it. Bai opened the door. Su Jiaran walked into her room. Bai closed the door calmly. Tell me everything you know. Su Jiaran went straight to the point. Do you want to drink? Bai walked to the wine cabinet, took out a bottle of red wine from it, and opened it with a bottle opener. Su Jiaran frowned, took the red wine bottle from her hand, took 2 goblets, poured the wine, and handed them to her. I want to know everything you know about Bai. She is still alive, right? My experiment failed. How did she survive? Bai took the wine that Su Jiaran handed over, took a sip and said, Shen Yin sent Bai out. He kidnapped the doctor in your lab and hired foreign experts, so she was saved. Now Bai is gone, and so is Lu Shuang. What about you? What role did you play in this? Su Jiaran narrowed his eyes. Bai curled her lips. I am Shen Yin's man. Why do you think he asked me to come? Impossible. You exposed the matter this time. If the matter is exposed, it will only benefit Gu Lingqing. It will not benefit anyone else. Su Jiaran didn't believe it. He realized that Bai was lying to him. His eyes sharpened, and a murderous look burst out of his eyes. Baya took another sip of wine, held it in her mouth, and swallowed it slowly. She leaned against the bar, shook the wine glass and said calmly, "Why is it impossible? After the matter of Shen Yan and Lu Shuang was suspected, what did Sheng Dongqing do? You hid it from Shen Yan and set up Gu Lingqing. You deliberately told Leng Ning about Xiahe's whereabouts, so that you could kill Gu Lingqing. Why did he kill Gu Lingqing without Shen Yan's consent? Because he is also a president. I did this to suppress Sheng Dongqing, and I could use Gu Lingqing to succeed. What's wrong with this? It won't affect the relationship between Shen Yan and Sheng Dongqing." "You are wrong. The one who set up Gu Lingqing was not Sheng Dongqing, but Su Zheng," Su Jiran said in a low voice. Baya looked at Su Jiran quietly, and a strange emotion flashed through her eyes. In the world, there were no eternal friends and no eternal enemies. Chapter 441. Su Jiran thought that Baya didn't believe him, so he explained, "When Gu Lingqing went to Steven Island, Su Zheng also sent someone there, and saw Xiahe. After Xiahe left the island, her whereabouts were all under Su Zheng's control. Su Zheng thought that Gu Lingqing deliberately let Xiahe go. Once he knew that Xiahe was captured, he would go to rescue her. He didn't know that this mission was fake." Baya was suspicious and frowned. "What role do you play in it? Are you working for Shen Yan, Sheng Dongqing, or Su Zheng? You seem to know a lot. Also, who asked you to study the virus? Or have you established your own organization? What is your purpose? What is it?" Su Jiran drank all the wine in the glass and put it down. "What is my purpose? Who am I working for? These are not important. I just want to know where Baya is. What else do you know about her? Tell me where she might be in the South Pole." Baya pursed her lips and didn't say anything. "Or are you Baya?" Su Jiran said suspiciously, looking at her. Baya's heart skipped a beat. The information that Su Jiran was on an extremely dangerous mission flashed through her mind. If Su Jiran knew that she was Baya, things would develop in a direction that she didn't want. "There are two things that you can be sure that I'm not Baya if I tell you." Baya also drank up the red wine and put it on the bar. She looked at Su Jiran and didn't avoid his eyes. Then she said, "I arranged for Lu Shuang to leave. I asked Alan for help. You guys are best friends. It's normal for you to do this," Su Jiran probed. "I also arranged for Lu Shuang's parents to go with her, but I secretly told their whereabouts to Shen Yan. As a result." Baya paused, and his eyes darkened. He continued, "Someone from Shen Yan's side leaked the news. Someone went to assassinate Lu Shuang, and killed Lu Shuang's mother by mistake. Don't tell me that it was Sheng Dongqing who assassinated Lu Shuang? If Sheng Dongqing wanted to assassinate you, he wouldn't have waited until now. Are you really not Baya?" Su Jiran stared at her. "If I were Baya, would Gu Lingqing kick me out? Do you want me to tell you what he said?" Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. A trace of pain flashed through her eyes, but it soon gathered into her deep eyes. "What did he say?" Su Jiran followed her words and said. Baya raised her eyebrows and said calmly, "He said that I can't see Baya's shadow in you. You lie, commit crimes, kill without batting an eyelid. You have no morals, etiquette, or shame. And Baya doesn't do any of these. Then he kicked me out and took my clothes. I didn't even have time to take my clothes." Su Jiran sneered. "I've said it before. You are just a substitute for Baya. He can't really love you. All he can see is your shortcomings. Shen Yan asked me to appear. His purpose is to make me a substitute for Gu Lingqing. If I can't continue with my mission, he will probably arrange another mission for me. Moreover, this time I was following his orders. Even if I succeeded, it's time for me to leave," Baya said. She walked towards Su Jiran and put her hand on his waist. Su Jiran looked down at her. Baya smiled charmingly. "What you said last time, to let me stay by your side. Does it still count?" Su Jiran held her hand. "You're a cunning fox. You lie all day long. No one can tell whether you're telling the truth or not. If I let you stay by my side, I'm afraid that you'll eat me up." He shook off her hand with a little too much strength. Baya followed his force and sat on the chair. She lifted her chin and looked at him coldly. Sujiran, you're really a strange person. Sujiran adjusted his clothes. It doesn't matter if I'm strange. It has nothing to do with you. I'm also a little curious. Why didn't you let me kill Zhou Hailan? You don't have to protect her. Baya leaned against the chair and crossed her right leg on her left knee. If you leave some leeway for others, you won't end up in a hopeless situation. At least there's a chance to turn around. Who is Zhou Hailan? She's Gu Lingqing's ex-girlfriend, one of the most important women in his life, one of the mothers of his children. One day, Baya comes back. Who will help me fight against her? Don't tell me. There was a murderous look in Baya's eyes. You want me to expose my nature as a hunter and scare Gu Lingqing away? Wu Nian, don't blame me for not reminding you. Sheng Dongcheng is not someone to be trifled with. Don't be a charging sheep. You won't be able to take advantage of him and get killed first. Su Jiran said coldly. Baya chuckled. She picked up the bag on the bar counter and took out the recording pen. She threw it to Su Jiran. Su Jiran asked, "What's this?" "I can't kill Sheng Dongcheng, but this recording can kill you easily." Baya smiled and looked at him confidently. Su Jiran frowned. "Wu Nian, what do you want?" "I want you to die," Wu Nian said indifferently and paused for a moment. A murderous look shot out from Su Jiran's eyes. "That doesn't mean anything to me." Wu Nian continued. "I just hope that we can be on the same side in the future and fight against the enemy together. Some things can't be certain. It's very possible that in 10 years, the president will be you or me." "You're very ambitious," Su Jiran judged. Wu Nian stood up. "The same goes for you. You're prettier than Baya, but you're more ruthless than her. You're not a good man." Su Jiran put the recording pen on the bar counter. There was no point in taking it away. He believed that Baya had a backup. "Let's talk in the future." Wu Nian watched as Su Jiran left the room and disappeared from her sight. Her tense nerves relaxed, and she sat down on the chair. When they were young, parents would teach their children not to lie. Children who lie will be eaten by wolves. When they grew up, they realized that the world was full of lies. Sales representatives, actors, politicians, interpersonal relationships, husband and wife, how to conduct oneself, and how to be a person. Now she was full of lies. Sooner or later, these lies would all turn into knives and stab at her, consigning her to eternal damnation. Her phone rang. Baya came back to her senses and saw that it was Alan. She smiled and said, "Hello. I'm at the airport now. Are you free to come out for dinner tonight? My grandmother really wants to see you," Alan said gently. "Come to the International Hotel in the city. How many people are there? I'll book a room for you." Baya stood up and went to the front desk. "There's no need. It's too troublesome." Chapter 442. Baya froze on the spot. She remembered that he had the third eye, so it would be very easy for him to find her. Was he asking her to go back? Gu Lingqing walked out of the elevator and handed her the bag in her hand. "I've packed all your things in here. Little White is in here too. The hotel doesn't allow you to keep it, so you better not let anyone find out." Baya's heart sank. It turned out that she was here to return her things. I really don't have time to take care of Little White. Please take care of him for a while." Gu Lingqing stared at her steadily. The corners of his mouth twitched as he said meaningfully, "Are you very busy?" "Yeah," Baya replied. Gu Lingqing opened the bag and carried the quiet Little White up. Little White barked at Baya. Baya patted the puppy's head. The puppy was so comfortable that it whimpered and licked Baya's hand. The corners of Baya's mouth curled up slightly. Gu Lingqing looked down at her, and his eyes unconsciously softened a little. But in the end he steeled his heart, turned around, and pressed the button for the elevator to go down. Baya looked at his reflection in the elevator. Their vision collided with each other on the metal surface of the elevator. Baya lowered her eyes, turned around and walked back to the room. She took out the clothes and documents from the bag, and sat on the bed in a daze for a while. Then, she remembered that she had something to do and looked at her phone. It was still on. She put the phone to her ear and asked, Alan, are you still there? Yeah. Alan replied. I'm sorry, I bumped into Gu Lingqing suddenly and just talked for a while. I'm sorry, you guys are still at the airport, right? I'll come and pick you up. Baya stood up. No need, we're already in the car. We'll go to your hotel later. Alan said gently. He was a person with a high EQ. He usually wouldn't ask about things that would make others feel awkward. So, even if he knew that her relationship with Gu Lingqing wasn't good, he wouldn't bring it up. Alright, the few of you. It will take about an hour to get here from the airport. Let's have lunch together at noon, and I will show you around. Baya smiled. I've already booked a room. Let's talk when you arrive. Alan hung up the phone. The weather was getting colder and colder. She didn't have many clothes, and she would have to deal with the politicians and noblewomen soon. She had less than an hour to go to the shopping mall next door, and bought 3 sets of clothes, and a set of cosmetics. When she returned to the hotel, she received a call from Alan. She put on some simple makeup and went downstairs to ask around. Alan and the others were already checking in. There were 6 of them. She knew Alan and Alan's grandmother. There was also an old man. She guessed that he was Mr. Tang. In addition to them, there were 2 young girls. One of them scared her because she looked like her mother. She looked like Bai Bing, so that girl was 60% similar to her in the past. She remembered that Alan's grandmother had said that her grandmother only had her mother as a child. Was there a mistake? Xiaonian. Alan shouted. Baya came back to her senses. Hello, my name is Wu Nian. I am Alan's friend. The old man looked at Baya. Baya let him look at her. She knew that he was thinking about whether she looked like his wife or not. Alan smiled and said, Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Tang. This is Qiao Na. That is Qiao Na's daughter. The one over there, who looks like your mother, is your grandmother's sister's child. No wonder. Baya understood. After you put away your luggage, I will wait for you in the hall. We will go out for lunch later. Okay, Alan, you chat with Xiaonian. We will go up and come down. Alan's grandmother said. Alan stayed to accompany Baya. Baya saw that there were 6 of them. An ordinary car could not fit them, and the SUV 7 was too crowded. She called Sheniyan. I am now at the International Hotel in a city. Lend me a car. Alan smiled and grabbed Baya's phone. Sorry, wrong number. What's wrong? I don't have a car. I used the money to buy a ship. Baya explained. I have a car. It's parked outside. Did you forget? I said before that I have investments here. The company I invested in has sent a car. Alan explained. Right, how much did you help me pay for the mercenaries? Baya asked. Not much. Don't worry about it. For me, that money is just for talking to you for a few minutes. Alan smiled. How much is it? Alan put his arm around her shoulders and pulled her into his arms. You saved me twice. Otherwise, I would have died a long time ago. Don't let me owe you so much, okay? But you have helped me a lot too. Alan smiled. For me, it's just a small effort. Alright, you thank me. When will you stop thanking me? Don't forget that you promised to cook for me. I will always remember that. Got it. One more thing. Is Mr. Tang going to do a paternity test? Baya turned around and looked at him. She took the opportunity to leave his embrace without leaving a trace. Grandpa Tang definitely wants to be safe. But you told me that you have had plastic surgery and bone marrow change. Can you do a paternity test? Well, I am ovulating these days. As long as the eggs are taken out, we can do a paternity test. Baya nodded. She also thought it was better to do a paternity test. Will it be dangerous for you? Alan was worried. Baya shook her head. No. Then should I make the arrangements tomorrow? Alan asked for her opinion. Baya nodded. Okay. With a ding, the elevator door opened. Baya heard Alan's grandmother say to Mr. Tang in the dialect of country A, beautiful, right? I like this girl very much. Maybe we can become in-laws. It will also fulfill my wish for so many years. Yes. Whatever you say is right. Mr. Tang said good-naturedly. Baya nodded to them. Let's go. Alan's car was a Mercedes-Benz Spender limousine. It was very spacious and had a driver. Master, let's go to the hotel in a city, Baya said. She looked at Alan and asked, the taste in a city is sweet. I don't know if there is anyone here who can't eat sweets. We are all fine with it. However, Mr. Tang has gout. Order a few dishes on the list for him. Alan's grandmother interrupted. Okay, Baya replied. Sister, are you Alan's girlfriend? She is so beautiful. The girl who looked like her mother said. Aling, Alan introduced her to Baya and looked at Aling. Haven't you always wanted to find a boyfriend from country, eh? You have to work hard this time. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.